Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
Damn, man, Thursday. Oh, come on.
What happened?
I shifted my weight, and I swept my pen right off the table.
I'll help you.
It's gone forever.
There it is.
I just shifted to my left, and I swept the pen clear across the room. I have it back. Just when you think things are going your way, Thursday smacks you right in the cake. But it ain't no thing. We can handle it. Welcome to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. You know, this will likely be happening on today's show. That, as well, will likely come into play. We welcome a special guest in studio later. Our pal, Dr. Andrea Johnston from Gurman Animal Hospital is going to swing on by. As usual, she'll be happy to answer any questions that our listening audience might have about their beloved dog or kitty. We'll holler at you when you need to start texting. And also, during Dr. Andrea's visit, we're going to try something that we've never tried before. And it might be a historic radio first. The very first live broadcasted dog exam.
I really hope the dog poops.
She's bringing, it wouldn't be the first, and we can tell a couple of stories on that. She's bringing in her bag of canine torture devices, Dr. Andrea, and we're going to examine a dog live on air. We found an angry stray living out behind the building a couple of days ago. We captured it. We put it in an empty room. And later on, Dr. Andrea will give it a thorough on-air exam. Yeah, if the dog cuts a turd on the carpeting here in the building, it will not be the first.
For this particular
True.
dog? Or no, in this building.
In this building.
Yeah, that's happened several times.
We've seen turds.
Yeah. The last
excited.
one we saw was my favorite because everybody walked just like a turd, just like at home when you're a kid and your dog launches one on the floor and you act like you didn't see it so you're not the one who has to clean it up.
Exactly.
We had that experience here. I don't know, was that a year ago?
Yeah, and my case was more disturbing because I walked right by it and never saw it. I mean, I could have stepped in that thing I think you're the one that said, hey, did you see that big turd out there? And I said, are you talking about Dana?
Yeah.
And you know, like the dog crap, I'm like, I walked by that 3 times. I never saw it.
That was beautiful. A big stack of turds, because this is a big dog. Dropped it right outside our studio door. Symbolic, I think. That's what came to mind. That's symbolic that there's a big pile of feces right outside the entrance to our studios. What happened was Dinkus over there from KQ brings his big old dog in studio. Sweet dog. I love that dog. She comes in once in a while.
Sneezes all the time. What's the condition?
It has COVID.
Oh, is that what it is?
Right.
I thought it was syphilis.
What kind of dog is that? Big, fat ass, lovable looking dog.
I don't know.
At any rate, that dog dumped one right outside the studio door. KQ dude never saw her do it. And a bunch of us walked past it. Some noticed and ignored it, like myself.
Me too.
Some like Dane. Some like Josh. Never noticed it.
No, you saved some sneakers that day.
Oh, I
it's
shouldn't
killing me.
have
I want to know what kind of dog. Do you mind if I just duck my head into his studio real quick and ask him? I want to know what dog it is.
Go ahead.
All right.
Some type of mutt.
It's not a high dollar
Purebred?
breed.
I'm so excited. Dog in the studio. Oh, I love when there's dogs
You
in the
love
studio.
dogs. You love all animals.
Yes. I don't discriminate.
I'm excited for you. The truth is, my friggin' wife is bringing our goofy little Yorkie puppy and Andrea will look her over. I don't know. Consider this bit encouragement for all to get your pets checked out. You might catch something early and save your animal's life. Have you met my puppy in person yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so I'm sure you're going to really like her. I mean, it's your typical little puppy. She might be a little unsure because this is a strange place for her. But my friggin' wife said she's going to stop by early this morning and kind of let the dog run around and get accustomed to things before we go on the air, before Dr. Andrea has to examine her. So hopefully it's not a total disaster. But Ashley, I think you're going to quickly fall in love with my puppy. And we'll see if she behaves. So you asked dude from KQ what kind of dog?
So I asked him, and he goes, you know what? Your guess is as good as mine.
Oh.
And the dog's name is Chauncey, and Chauncey is here.
Oh, that's not good.
So how's your dog with other dogs?
Not good.
Not good?
That's funny. It's because I was going to make a few phone calls on that to make sure we didn't have to. Well, my dog's just a little puppy. When she sees other dogs, she just wants to charge at them to play. And
well, that's good.
Well, that's what we assume. She gets very whiny, very, very shaky and whiny, and wants to, when we take the dog for walks, she wants to get that other dog. Our assumption is she's not looking to start trouble. She's 5 pounds, for Christ's sake. But, okay, well, we'll have to keep them separated. That'll add another layer of drama to this bit.
Our dogs, they're very dog motivated. They love to play. They play a little rough, and it's my fault because one in particular, I've created a monster. I like to sneak attack, right? Like, he'll be laying on the couch. I'll jump over the back of the couch and attack him and wrestle him. That's the fun part about having big dogs. But
you're very hands-on with your dogs.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I like to mess with them. I have a great time. And so there's one, and he loves it. The other one, at first, thought maybe we were fighting, and now he gets in on it, but he doesn't really know how to wrestle yet. He sucks. But this one in particular, all of a sudden, after, I don't know, a year of just sneaking up on him and attacking him, he started to do the same to me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which he's never done before.
That is so cool.
So it's just a random series of Pearl Harbor jobs going on in the house.
He'll sneak up on me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll hear him because when they shake their head, or the Danes we've had, it's so loud because they're floppy ears. So I'll hear him coming, so I know, he's going to get me. But there's been a couple times where it scared the hell out of me.
There's a lot of material. There's a lot of flesh in those ears.
I should record it for you. It sounds like Marine One taking off with the president. And
I know the sound. Because,
you've heard it before?
Because my mother had some kind of a bloodhound mix.
Oh, is it the same thing?
Massive long ears.
Yeah.
And, let me just ask you, Ashley. I'm sorry. You have a thought. Don't lose your thought. When your Great Danes shake their head and rip their ears, around in circles like they do they start slow and then build up to top speed?
No, they just go for it. And it's always when they get up. Like if they're laying down, as soon as they get up, that's when they
shake
do
the
it. Every
cobwebs
single
loose.
time.
Yeah.
Now, here's the problem with that is they are full of boogers. So I have to debooger our walls
Oh, nasty.
once a week. Once a week. And so
Gross.
I know, it's gross. But then stuff goes everywhere. So there's some guys are fixing some stuff at my house, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. And one of them's like, and we joke about it all the time because he sees me like, every few days going through the whole house and deboogering.
You're wiping the walls.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And so he's like, hey, look up. There's some that got on the ceiling.
Yeah.
God, how am I going to...
I mean, they're large
I got to get
animals.
a ladder to do this?
They're bigger than you are.
Yeah, they are.
So when they... You had a thought, Ashley?
I was just going to say that I wish I could teach my dogs how to sneak attack me or my fiance. That would be really fun to watch because he's going to get what's coming to him. He likes to fight our dogs all the time, and it likes to get them riled up right after they finally calm down. God, why do men like to do that?
It's awesome.
They're chilling.
Because
They're chilling.
we are also just big, dumb animals is what we are.
Well, and so now, he's going extra hard. This is Rocky, appropriately so. And
Rocky.
So he's going extra hard for times. I'm like, okay, dude, stop. I mean, he just gets a little too wild.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to make sure there's... Because that KQ guy, Tom, for Christ's sake, not Tom.
Steve?
Steve. That's a big dog. That dog could swallow my dog whole. So we better keep
It'll be
these.
too busy sneezing.
His dog is very chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it like
It can lay a hell of a turd.
It's a very sweet dog that can make a large turd. I don't anticipate that his dog would be violent.
Did you guys?
But mine is a tiny little puppy and unpredictable. But that his dog could swallow mine.
It is a big dog.
His dog could use my dog like a pinch of snuff in its lower lip. That's the size differential there.
Did you guys notice I left for a minute? I stepped out of the studio.
We did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't here. All right. So I apologize if you brought this up, but did you retell the story about the other time?
Oh,
there was a dog.
No, I did not.
That is so passive aggressive yet kind of funny.
Like I mentioned, dog turds have been dropped in this building before. Go ahead with the first incident. I remember, at least over the years, where a dog defecated in this building.
Yeah.
You go ahead, because I don't remember the details.
So this was an intern, and he brought in his dog, and I don't remember him doing it very often. But
I don't think he kept the dog.
Oh, is that right?
That's my memory.
Okay.
Was it not a tiny little black lab puppy?
Yeah, it was a little.
Oh my God.
Gotcha.
So he brought it in, and I found out the next day that the dog had pooped because we used to have, Ashley and Dana, you've seen them. We used to have at one of our old studios down the hall, these cubbies. And then people would put, whatever information you needed in there, and you'd store your headphones or whatever.
Here's the new CD you should talk about tonight on the show. Yeah, right.
Yeah, like, pieces of paper for, here's information to talk about.
Right.
And so in there was a baggie in this kid's, right? And he lifts up the baggie. Our boss at the time scooped up the dog turds, put it in a baggie, and then put it in his cubby.
Yeah. He was mad at this.
He was mad at him.
Mad at this young intern for because the kid did bring a dog in. I don't think he got permission. He just turned his dog loose in the building, and the dog laid one down, and it was bad. It smelled the whole building up.
Yeah,
I do remember.
I didn't see it.
I came around the corner, and the smell about knocked me unconscious. So that pissed off the boss.
Oh, yeah, he was enraged.
Bags up the turd and puts
That's
it in.
how petty he is.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now, what is this? A couple people listened. That's not the word. A couple people texted in, and they say, "Do you remember when a goat pooped in our studio?"
Yes.
Oh gosh, wow. Yeah, that was insane.
I had no idea goats pooped like so much.
I don't recall that. Is this when we had some of those zoo people in?
The
or
petting zoo?
Petting zoo? No, I don't recall the goat poop.
Oh, it was... I learned a lot that day about
Yep.
the digestive system of a goat.
Well, they're these little Cocoa Puffs, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've owned fainting goats before, and the way I like to describe their back end is it's like a black hole. It's just a black hole back there.
Mine is too, actually.
You mean
a lot of hair?
Things go in and they never come back out? That's what a black hole is.
It's never ending. It's
Okay.
never
Just a
ending.
constant
back there.
stream.
Just an
Yep.
endless Pez dispenser.
It was insane. Oh, so gross.
I don't recall the goat, but Ashley mentioned earlier that she's very excited because she loves animals, loves dogs. I hope that when you pick up my dog, you get as much joy from it, because that's what animals bring to us, Josh.
They do.
Joy. I hope you get as much joy out of holding my puppy as you did when you held, correct me if I'm wrong, when you held a sloth in studio. Wasn't it a sloth?
Yeah, it was a sloth.
Yeah.
Yep, that was beautiful.
You melted when you held that sloth.
I believe that was Slow-Mo, the sloth,
Slow-mo.
if I remember correctly. I loved that sloth so much. I was just talking about that the other day. Every time I go to the zoo, I have to stand there for a while. And I'm convinced. I was talking a big game before me and my fiance went to the zoo a couple weeks ago. And I said, I swear, every time I see the sloth, they start to move. They know I'm there. They love me.
You bring that out of them.
And it happened. It was so awesome.
Wait a minute. So one of them got all active around you?
Yeah, as soon as I stepped up, it started moving around, and I was like, this is perfect. This is so perfect.
Remember
told you.
She's already getting giddy about this.
I know. When we had the monkey in studio,
I don't remember
that might have been the same time. That was awesome.
I don't know if I remember the monkey.
Yeah, let me see if I got a picture of it.
Did I hold the monkey?
Yeah.
he was messing around with our microphones and stuff.
I held the monkey.
Yeah, he loved us.
God, I don't know why I don't remember the monkey.
I bet he doesn't remember us either.
Did I shock the monkey?
You did not shock
I
the
did
monkey.
not shock the monkey. Who was that? Peter Gabriel? Anyway, this is going to be great. Josh, March Madness Jesus, a few minutes ago, he switched over to KQ to see if you would be on air over there. and then he switched back to 93X.
Well, if you see a ratings dip, you know if I made it on air. Yeah, they're not on yet. Well, at least they weren't when I walked in there.
I don't know what they do over there.
They sleep in.
Very first, at least around here, I think it might be radio history, the very first live dog exam later on this morning when Dr. Andrea pops by from Gurman Animal Hospital.
By the way, I wish I could. I wish I would have took a picture of the look they gave me at KQ when I walked in and asked about Steve's dog.
Yeah.
They look like, you're a crazy person. Aren't you supposed to be working right now?
They'll get over it. Makes me wonder. You know, like I said, I think this is a first. Where will this rank, Josh, up against some of the other things we've seen in studio over the years, some of the things we never thought we'd see in person live on the radio? Where will this rank against, like, say, the live enema on air? Where will this rank? Where will this rank against, like, the live orgasm contest that we had, or the live? Oh, you didn't see the live kidney stone passing?
No, that was before me.
I hope.
I mean, I worked here, but I wasn't on the morning show.
I mean, it's just a simple dog exam. Likely nothing's going to happen that we'll remember forever. But it just made me think about some of the other firsts that we've encountered here over the years.
No, that kidney stone guy,
Probably the most fun I've ever had in my life was watching
that's
another.
not right.
Probably the most fun I've ever had.
That's very wrong. Very wrong. That kidney stone guy, I knew him. He, how would I describe? My girlfriend's little brother's friend with this guy, and he was interested in coming in here. So that was the relation, and he wanted a way in, and I said, yeah, totally. I can get you.
Oh no.
I can get you a conversation with somebody.
No.
The guy that I helped start here, and the guy he became were very different.
He was
to the point where I thought, oh no.
He was a sheltered, typical,
very sweet,
innocent kid.
Very innocent.
Very innocent, very sweet, quiet, kind of a sheltered life up to that point. And then he entered a rock radio station in 1999 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And we turned him in to an animal. He was exposed to things he never dreamed he would be exposed to. And yes, we altered his life forever.
Yeah, I could say I had nothing to do with changing his life. I didn't work with him close like you guys did. Boy, did I see a change.
I do feel like I should take some blame.
But you know what?
The dude.
That's the difference, right? And you set it up perfectly because back then it was all enemas and orgasms. Today it's dog segments that you might see like at 10 a.m. on Channel 11.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. On the Today Show.
Yeah.
With special guest, who's that English comic?
There's a couple of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, or
Robbie Dobby. What's his name? That English comic.
They just finished the a baking segment, and it's like as we let this coffee cake cool, we're going to meet a couple of special furry friends.
That's because we have a new slogan around here. This is from I'll Try Anything 4 Times Jesus. Pugs, not drugs.
Back in the day, it was the other way around.
No pugs allowed, just drugs.
Who's that English comic? Robbie, Dobby, Nobby. Yeah, I'll come up with it later.
No clue.
Yeah, I don't either.
651-989-9393. Name me every English comic that you know, and we'll come up with it.
Is he?
I mean, we'll come up with it isn't how I would say that.
You'll know it when you see it.
And I'll know it when I see it. Robbie,
Dobby.
Gervais.
Oh,
Ricky Gervais.
Ricky Gervais. That's what I meant to say. It's too late now. Is it too late now? Yes. But that's who I had in mind.
Kind of reminds me of that American comic. Text in every American comic.
You can't think of the guy's name.
But he's an American comic.
Give us a hint. Well, not give us a hint, but what does it sound like in your head?
Like there's some jokes and then there's some reactions.
His name. What is it?
I'm joking.
Donnie, Ronnie?
I think Mikey? No. It began with a consonant.
Speaking of... Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Speaking of
Or
dogs...
a vowel.
It could start with a vowel?
It could start with a vowel as well.
What is this I'm reading about people cooking hot dogs in their dryers?
Why?
Oh, I mean, it's social media.
Perfectly good microwave.
It's a trend. It's a social media trend. The 8th graders, you know the gimmick, but still, it's interesting to mention that people are trying to go ahead and cook hot dogs in their dryers, dude. Come on.
I bet it would work, yeah.
Most social
They say it doesn't work.
Oh.
Yeah.
Most social media trends are so stupid, but this one just made me laugh. Just how ridiculous it is.
Now, Josh has fired a hot dog down a hallway once or twice.
Oh, yeah. I married a woman that already had 2 kids.
But
Oh, man.
you have never put a hot dog in a dryer, have you?
No.
Phew. That is unbelievable. They're trying to cook. The results are not great. Just in case your microwave isn't working. The results have not been good. It says here the hot dog doesn't get cooked thoroughly enough in a dryer, doesn't get cooked all the way through. But see, that's not a problem.
I didn't think you really needed to, actually.
Yeah, that's not a problem for me. I don't.
I thought you could even eat those things cold if you had to.
Oh, animals do that.
When I was a kid, I would eat cold Oscar Mayer wieners, and my breath would just be deadly.
Oh, I bet.
It's so dumb and gross, but we were broke, and I was a greasy, disgusting, shirtless child aimlessly walking the streets looking for a friend. You don't need to cook a hot dog thoroughly.
No, it's not like it's raw chicken.
Unless you... But... doctors have had to step up and talk about how, let's see, your dryer could have, things in there, and the things will get into your belly, and then you die.
Yeah, gross. If I ever did that, the hot dog would come out just coated in dog hair.
You know what? I bet you're right.
Yeah. Little
Plus, I'm so used to throwing a dryer sheet in there, it's going to taste like a dryer.
Ew.
And then they go on to talk about folks who make grilled cheese sandwiches with their clothes iron. Clothes iron, is that how you say it? Clothing iron?
I've heated up food with a iron before.
Have you really?
Yeah, it was, I was in a hotel.
Oh, smart.
And I DoorDashed some Taco Bell, and I need my Taco Bell to be nice and warm to fully enjoy it.
Okay, be honest. You passed out before the Taco Bell got there. It was sitting outside the door, and then that's why you need to heat it up.
That time? No, I think it was Taco Bell breakfast, so I was safe. Yeah, just whipped that out and...
Well, why did you do that?
Oh, we didn't have a microwave in there, and I like it to be warm.
I would never even think of that. You're very creative.
No. I've never used an iron on clothing. I might as well try it on a taco sometime.
I tried it once, and I made it worse.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
There's like pleats in there that'll never come out.
I can teach you guys how to do it.
Do you know how to iron?
Yeah, I
never
actually love ironing.
Josh.
I iron my tablecloths.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
You have tablecloths?
It reminds me of growing up.
I have one for every holiday.
I think my grandma really enjoyed ironing. She would iron constantly. It seemed like every day.
Oh, it's so satisfying.
I always liked the smell, too.
Yep.
Josh, the American comic you were trying to come up with, is it Adam Sandler?
No, keep going.
All right, other folks in this conversation about trying to cook a hot dog in your damn dryer, they talk about the frying an egg on a sidewalk. People have tried that, and they say it just makes a terrible mess. I mean, boy, it's got to be cooking out there for you to legitimately fry an egg on the sidewalk.
I had a buddy that tried to cook bacon on his dashboard one day. He had a pan, right? So it wasn't like he just set it on the dashboard.
Okay.
But he tried to do it, and it didn't really do much. It got hot, certainly.
Did he put anything in the pan with the bacon?
No, just the bacon.
Okay.
And
I didn't
his
know if
car
there was-
smelled like bacon, I think, for about 4 years.
Oh, I bet it did. Tough to get that out.
That's all right.
Which is something he never considered ahead of time.
Oh, God. So why did he do this? Just for fun?
Well, yeah, I think it was,
Did he
again-
have a new car? My God, that would be terrible.
No,
Your car would smell. Not that bacon's
This was
a bad smell.
in college, so he had
Effing
like
around.
a college kid car, right?
Other people talked about how you can heat up a hot dog pretty fast with a lighter.
Yeah, that would work, I bet.
Jesus.
We tried to cook a frozen pizza over a bonfire once, and we didn't really think it through too far. Me and another buddy, we grabbed 2 long sticks, held them out kind of, across the bonfire from each other, and put the pizza on top of the 2 sticks and tried to balance it. And after 97 beers that day on the 4th of July, that Jack's Pizza ended up falling into the fire.
Rest in peace.
It smelled good, though.
I'm sure, at least for a while. Your buddy who tried cooking bacon in his motor vehicle. Great story. The American comic, was it Bill Cosby? Josh?
No, it wasn't.
Wasn't Bill Cosby?
Just start sending them in alphabetical order.
You're going to be here for a while.
Obviously, we all know, and my God, I can't imagine what it must be like for people in Southern California and New Mexico and Arizona, Florida, where it just gets insanely hot, Nevada. We all know how brutally hot it can get inside your car on a hot day. It always makes me tell the story about my pal who lived in Las Vegas for a while, and while he was there, he bought some garbage car, which was the right thing to do. Why go spend a bunch of money on a car? I'm going to live here for a couple of years. I'll just try to keep a beater alive during that time. And it was fine. But when he decided to come back to Minnesota, he no longer had any interest in the car. And, of course, he's one of these guys that once it's not his problem anymore, he's happy making it everybody else's problem. He's one of these guys that would, like we talk about a lot in our stupid news, that would hammer on a sex doll for a few months and then just throw it out on the beach. You know what I mean? Now it's everybody else's problem to clean up. So he did not want to bring this car from Nevada to Minnesota, so he just left it on the sidewalk. Just abandoned it. Sidewalk doesn't make sense. He just abandoned this vehicle on the streets of Las Vegas. So, obviously, you guys know how insanely hot it gets there. 6-8 months later, he went back to Vegas just to visit and gamble and party. And he made sure he went and found his car. It's still 6-8 months later, still in the same spot on this street in a crappy part of Nevada. And he noticed when looking into the window, number one, it was covered with dust. I mean, like an inch of dirt and dust. When he looked in the window, the steering wheel had melted forward.
Oh, boy.
What? What is going on?
It just
How does it stay
sun
there for that
just
long?
melted it right down to the...
Have you guys ever had a sun shield that you put in your window?
No, but
No.
I always
Or a
wondered if
shade,
they were
whatever they call it.
legitimate.
I had one. A friend gave me one. It was of Luke Skywalker.
Nerd.
In what way? He's piloting, I believe, an X-wing fighter.
Oh, that's pretty sweet,
From
actually.
the outside of the vehicle, you could see on your sunshade Luke Skywalker sitting behind the wheel of a, what do you call it?
I think it was an X-wing fighter. Yeah. So, I got a Star Wars guy.
Friggin'
right there.
perfect.
It was awesome. I mean, he gave this. I was almost in tears. I thought this is the greatest gift of all time. And it worked.
It did make a considerable difference.
Absolutely, it made a difference.
Well, F me running.
I have one, but I only use it in the winter when it's snowing out because I park on the street now. But I should use it because it's dual purpose, winter and summer. I should use it in the summer more often.
Wait, why winter?
When it's snowing out and stuff, it just helps to keep the car, windshield clear.
Oh, so you put it on the outside?
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh,
I've never heard of that.
I
Oh,
haven't.
really? Those are really popular, yeah.
Never heard of it. You put something on the outside of your windshield before it snows?
Yep.
Yeah, and then you just pull it off, and you don't have any ice stuck to your windshield or anything.
Lick me down.
Pretty slick.
Never heard of it, Josh.
Needed it
never
yesterday,
saw
that's
it.
for sure.
I was going to ask how it worked yesterday, though, because I had a friend. She posted a video. She had one of those, and, she took it off, but she still had to scrape so much because there's, 2 feet of snow on her car because it snowed so much.
I had to scrape everything else.
Yeah.
And it was also frozen to the windshield yesterday.
Cubby.
Yes.
This American comic you're trying to think of, is he or she also a comedy actor? Like a comedy actor?
Yes.
Is it Vin Diesel?
What?
Because his work is hilarious.
Yeah, no, somebody that does stand-up comedy.
Jim Gaffigan, a lot of food jokes.
Nope, nothing like that.
We got to get going, but like we said,
Yahoo Serious.
Oh, I love him.
That's who it was.
I knew it started with a Y.
Yeah,
Who the
Yahoo
heck is
Serious.
that?
Exactly, Ashley.
For your time.
Although I did love him.
Later on, animal owners, pet owners, later on, you'll get a chance to text our friend Dr. Andrea Johnston if you have any questions about your pet. And also, we're going to attempt a live, on-air dog exam and see how that turns out and what cuts loose. We'll take a little breather and come back to Stupid News is next on the Half-Ass Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
This is a mini meditation guided by Bombas. Repeat after me. I'm comfy. I'm cozy. I have 0 blisters on my toes. And that's because I wear Bombas, the softest socks, underwear, and t-shirts that give back. 1 purchased equals 1 donated. Now go to bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN for 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN at checkout.
No Contest Wrestling, where O'Shea Jackson Jr. and TJ Jefferson bring their hot takes with the biggest names in the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, Braun Breaker. Welcome to the pod.
My aspirations in life, I always wanted to be a WWE superstar.
The Prodigy, Roxanne Perez. I gotta talk about the Hugger cosplay.
I mean, it was perfect, wasn't it? You know?
LA Knight.
What am I doing here? At this point, I can retire. See you, everybody.
The No Contest Wrestling Podcast, part of the Rich Eisen Podcast Network. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Stupid News on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
All right, I got to cover a couple of things first. Hopefully you don't mind. What the hell is this now? 8th graders and dorks on social media are attempting to cook hot dogs in their dryer. And it's not working very well. But this is the latest thing you might find on that godless, soulless, evil social media. People trying to cook hot dogs in their dryers. Got a couple interesting texts related to that. One of my favorite Jesus or She's names, Emotional Boner Jesus.
We've all had them.
I don't know if I ever have.
I haven't.
You haven't?
Nope, not yet.
He said, okay, so speaking of, cooking food in unique places. He bought a snowmobile years ago, and it has an actual food warmer attached to the muffler.
That's pretty cool.
You can put a burrito in there, Josh, while you're on your way between Garrison and Izades.
Doesn't that seem like a good way to get very sick?
Yeah.
It sort of does.
This is very carbon dioxide-y. Is it right on the muffler?
They say it's a food warmer right up next to the muffler.
Huh.
That does sound scary to me.
Yeah.
Weed-smoking union worker Jesus heats his breakfast. He heats his breakfast on his dash every day in the wintertime. He uses the defrost setting, and aluminum foil.
Wow.
To heat his breakfast on his dash.
Clever people.
I've never warmed up my food on the dash.
I'm not that creative. I couldn't come up with something like that.
I think the only reason I've done something like that is I just really hate cold food. I can't enjoy it.
Oh, yeah?
I want to, if I'm eating something, I want it to be the absolute best it can be.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
My wife, who will be here later, which is just going to be great. she also likes her food just piping hot.
I don't like hot beverages.
Give it a minute.
Food.
Yeah, give it a minute, for Christ's sake. It's painful to watch.
Yeah, I get made fun of quite a bit because I will cook dinner and it will maybe be out of the oven for 30 seconds.
No.
And I'll pop it in the microwave.
You must have an iron tongue.
By the way, I want to bring this up just so there's witnesses in case anything ever happens to me. You know what happened. I jokingly bullied Ashley by stealing her breakfast and said I was going to steal her breakfast every morning.
Just a minute ago, I saw it happen.
And she threatened to kill me. And she warned me, you don't take food away from a pregnant woman.
No. Absolutely not.
You got to be nuts.
Especially because if I don't eat in the morning, I'm done for the day. I'm sick. I'm on the toilet. It's not good. I
was just going to joke, if you don't eat, you get gassy, but apparently you do.
I need food.
Don't get like a diarrhea storm happening in here, Josh, just because you're turning over a new leaf and you want to bully people.
Well, I said I want to change. I want to start bullying people.
Off air, Josh said it's time to stop being the nicest guy in the county. It's time to start being a dick. He wants to bully people in person and online.
Yes. And I grabbed Ashley's plate she made a lovely breakfast sandwich, and I grabbed it, and I thought she was going to murder me.
I'm surprised you're still alive right now, to be honest with you.
A few people now are texting in on original ways that they heat their food. On the fresh asphalt in my dump truck, less bluer, more baller Jesus used to cook his lunch with the fresh, hot asphalt in his dump truck. A couple people texted in saying they also heat up their breakfast on the dashboard of their vehicle in the winter. They hit the defrost, some aluminum, whatever. That does the trick. You people are very innovative. You're a brilliant crowd, but you knew that already. What is? I got to look into this. What is? Get back to me. What is forklift chili? A listener texted in and just simply printed forklift chili. Tell me more about that. I'm a former forklift pilot myself. I was the best in the business between the years 1988 and 1992. I could put the forklift in reverse and I could do a backflip. And if you put a quarter on one of the forks, I could flip it into a beer mug behind me.
It's impressive.
That's what I can do on a forklift.
I had an embarrassing reverse moment yesterday. What a wild ride it was to and from work, right?
Oh, God, it sucked, yeah.
But, and I like it because it's got four-wheel drive and stuff like that, and it's kind of fun. And I was back into my driveway. I mentioned there's some guys working on my place, and they were in the garage doors open. So I start back in my driveway, and all of a sudden, because I hadn't plowed it yet, I go completely sideways, and I nearly took out our basketball hoop.
Really?
I mean, I came as close, and they're all laughing at me. It was so embarrassing, and I thought, I did so well on my way into work and my way home.
That big pickup got sideways on you.
It just went completely sideways.
Man, wow.
And the whole time, I'm trying to stop. I'm like, oh, no, I'm going to take this down. I'm going to destroy my truck. And some macho men are watching me do this.
That happens.
And I kind of hope maybe they wouldn't say anything or maybe they didn't notice, but they all noticed. One guy was even inside and saw it.
Were they like, hey, gravedigger, nice work out there, that kind of a thing?
That sucked.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
But luckily, didn't hit. See, I can't even hit a basketball hoop when my car's sliding.
Yeah.
Much less when I'm trying to with the basketball.
You can't hit the target even in a pickup.
No.
All right. That sucks. One more side note here before we dive into the stupid news. And I'm going to make a prediction here. We're probably only going to get through a couple of stupid news stories because the first two that I have lined up for you are very, very interesting. So I bet we will. At any rate, this morning, a little bit later on, our veterinarian friend, Dr. Andrea Johnston, will be coming in studio, and she'll answer your questions about your pets. And just to try something new, my friggin' wife is bringing in our little Yorkie puppy. And we think this is a radio first. Dr. Andrea is going to give that puppy a live exam on this here radio show. We'll see how that turns out. So we got to talking about some of the past firsts we've had in this studio. We've seen some crazy things over the years. Not that a dog exam is going to come off the rails. I seriously doubt it will, but it's a first. A couple of listeners texted Josh and reminded me of some old bits from years ago. Do you remember when we used to do the newlywed game in studio? And, that could be a lot of fun. Sometimes it really wasn't.
There was a few times it was incredibly fun.
Yeah. Do you remember when newlywed game, of course, you have couples who are about to be married.
Yeah, it was a pre-newlywed game.
Pre-newlywed game, thank you. When we had the couples draw pictures of what they remember their significant other's genitalia to look like.
Oh, thank you for
that was friggin' insane.
That was
All we said, we just gave them a piece of paper and a pencil and said, draw your significant other's genitals. And I wish we saved those photos somewhere. Well, they're not photos. Save those drawings somewhere. We should do that again for no good reason.
Well, you mentioned your wife is coming in studio today.
Oh, my God.
How's she with pen and paper?
I don't know what kind of an artist she is. I know I'm a terrible one. But thank you very much for reminding us of that, because that was a good one.
Oh, man, I got to be honest. I would be terrified if we all did that in here.
Oh, yeah.
I would
Matter
love
of fact,
that.
With our significant other?
Yeah, and if I wouldn't say anything to her because I don't want to cheat, but I would pray that she would embellish just a little bit.
No.
Okay, a lot.
Your penis is fine.
I want her to say, hey, do you have any tape and a second piece of paper?
All right, how about this old bit? Talking about how later on we're going to have a veterinarian in studio for a dog examination. Let's see if you remember this bit. This is a bit that you and I used to just play randomly. Now, what if, I think this is medical device Jesus who reminded me of this. Josh, what if we had like a forestry expert in studio? What kind of examination would we be doing then? If it was like a forestry expert, maybe a DNR guy, what kind of examination?
Where am I starting?
What do you mean where you starting?
It's a dog versus...
Dog examination.
Oh, that would be a log examination.
Okay, and I also would have accepted bog examination.
Oh, I wouldn't even have thought of
what kind of examination are we doing if it's someone who's an expert with amphibians?
Oh, that's a frog.
A frog examination. What about someone who is well-versed on footwear?
A clog?
Clog examination. A meteorologist would give us what kind of an
I'd imagine that'd be a fog examination.
Fog examination. What if someone came in studio who was an expert in domesticated swine?
A hog.
Hog examination. And what about someone who specialized in cardiovascular exercise?
Jog.
It would be a jog examination.
But you know what?
Welcome to the Wayback Machine.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, that eventually went out of control where we're speaking Latin. I mean,
yes.
It's like so...
It did.
It's so elaborate at times.
We angered coworkers with that one.
Oh, yeah.
For how far we used to take it.
Because that was an off-air bit, too. Where we wouldn't don't go anywhere because we got about 30 more of these.
Yeah.
And sometimes it would take a while to come up with the answer. Nice one, medical device Jesus.
Josh, there are a few listeners who are very excited to learn that you are going to take up bullying.
Yeah, if you have any suggestions.
I'm looking forward to that.
I just went with the classic. I stole someone's breakfast. I stole their meal.
It's a good bit. I think you should start with your kids, though. They bully you the most.
I can't compete with that.
Yeah.
You guys have seen. I told you that I am the target, and then you guys have seen it. And the issue is they are so good at it.
It's fun to watch in public, to be honest with you. With boat cruises or casino trips, I sometimes kind of observe and watch it, and it's very fun.
I pray it's out of love, but there's times it hurts pretty bad. Like, oh, you're cutting to the quick there. You're getting me.
I have a list of people that I'd like for you to bully, Josh.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, put it out there.
I'll get started.
Listener got back to me about forklift chili. He says, in the wintertime, I would heat up my leftover chili and have it for lunch. And now I have a Jesus name, Forklift Chili Jesus. But you would put your bowl of chili on the engine of the forklift? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, were you ever good enough where you could fork feed me?
I could have. I was so slick with the forks and that forklift, so agile. I could have... Josh, I could have not only fed you chili with the forks, but I could have done it bean by bean. I could. I could take that fork and I could have picked one bean out of that bowl of chili and gently dropped it into your mouth while you slept. That's how friggin' good I was with a forklift. All right.
Now I want to try that.
Yeah. Me too.
What are the odds shoot, down the road in this building, they do like forklift ballet. Those guys are so good at it. And we've talked to them before. Maybe they'd let us use a forklift and
it's been years.
See what you can do.
This was the late 80s and early 90s, but I was the Dale Earnhardt Sr. of the forklift circuit.
I would love if you tried now and you just did a bunch of damage.
We should have a
I'd probably tear a wall right out of it.
You know what?
The forklift games?
Maybe we should do something like that.
Forklift races in the parking lot?
Yeah, like host something with the brother and sister who work, construction and use these machines, like some sort of synchronized dance, an Olympics of some sort, maybe a battle.
It would be amazing.
That would be fun.
And we would likely be sued, but it's something we can look into.
That's true. Things have changed.
OSHA would not be happy.
Oh, I never even considered that.
All right. Cubby. You know me, and you know that I do have an appreciation for a good scam. There are limits, but I have an appreciation for a good scam. And we're going to begin today's Stupid News Report with a keeper. It sounds familiar to me. I think we've covered this nonsense the last time it was being slung around the internet. This scam is extra special because not only does it make the scammer a hell of a lot of monies, which is the key to any good scam. This one is extra special because it's also wildly perverted. Really sick, twisted, perverted stuff. It's something called an orgasm retreat where women will be taught how to orgasm. All right?
You've changed, man.
Talk to me.
I remember a time when you didn't believe a female orgasm was real.
Yeah.
You've been convinced now at this point?
Yeah, but still, there's no way you're going to convince me that the don't tell me the word, I can't think of the word is, the environment. What's the word?
There is no such thing as an environment.
Environment. Yeah. I don't believe in the environment.
There is not an environment.
Everyone's always telling me that the environment is in trouble. I don't believe it's a real thing.
There is not an environment.
All right. An orgasm retreat. Of course, this idea comes from California. Ladies in our listening audience, all the organizers of this orgasm retreat want in trade is $15,000 of your hard-earned money. So, gals.
Oh, my gosh.
Gals, you could hand these hippies $15,000 so you can sit in a circle and play with yourself in front of a gang of 70-year-old women, or you can touch yourself at home for free while you watch old Patrick Swayze movies. Which way are you going to go?
I wonder if I really had difficulty there, and I kind of go the opposite way, to be honest with you.
You orgasm too easily?
A little too easily. I wonder if I'd get desperate enough where I would pay, $15,000. Okay, that's outrageous. But if I'd spend some serious, embarrassing money on it, if I just couldn't, and I really thought I could learn how.
I think, Josh, knowing you, if you just absolutely could not orgasm and you were at a point in your life where you still cared to, there is a point where you don't anymore.
Yeah.
I believe you would spend some money. I don't believe that you would spend this kind of money. I think you'd make an effort, but you'd be reasonable with it.
I guess maybe if I ever reach a point where a Patrick Swayze movie is no longer doing it for me,
right,
maybe I will shell out a couple of bucks.
Yeah, you don't need to spend $15,000. You just give me a $15 B-Dubs gift card. I'll show you a couple things.
I'd imagine.
It's really not that hard. I feel so bad for these women.
$15,000. Now, you've heard this kind of deep spiritual jibber-jabber before. The organizers of this orgasm retreat come off with lots of talk about connecting to your body, accessing your own erotic. I didn't mean to. I think I came off by saying neurotic. They talk about accessing your own erotic energy.
I've heard it's far more mental for women than it is for gentlemen.
Absolutely. They're going to go on this retreat, and it's not going to happen anyway because they're putting too much pressure on it.
Oh, good call. Yeah, because I know a friend of mine, his wife is does not quite have the same libido she did when they first got married. But when they go on vacation and can relax and the kids aren't around and she's not worried about work, he said she becomes the woman that he married.
The woman of his dreams.
Yeah.
All right.
Vacation sex is a little bit different than home sex, for sure.
Ladies, if you sign up for this Jill-off getaway, expect to miss some work. They'll keep you out in the woods for a smooth week.
Oh, my gosh.
Here's the part where it's difficult to believe they can get away with this. Says here, during the retreat, the so-called sex educators use toys, tools, and their gloved hands to, quote, help women reconnect with their bodies and sexuality.
That's
otherwise
so
known
weird.
as penetration, is what they're...
Yeah.
Gloved hand.
Don't some folks go to jail for this type of thing?
Yep.
Well, if you don't charge money for it, you might, right? Or if that's $15,000, they're paying for it.
Yeah.
Oh.
If I'm paying $15,000, take that glove off.
Yeah.
I don't want that glove on.
Take that glove off and dip it in that bucket of petroleum jelly.
That just reminds me of going to the doctor. That's awful.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm the last guy that's going to call the cops on these folks. If you want to make a daisy chain out in the woods, hell, good for you. I'm just fascinated how they can get away with this. Lord have mercy, listen to this. This sounds like a porno movie. At a past orgasm retreat, Ashley, close your eyes and picture this. All of us should close our eyes and picture this. At a past orgasm retreat, a 60-year-old gal...
Nope, I'm done.
Ashley,
ageist. My mom is that age. I thought of my mom right away, and I didn't like that.
CFH bass player Jesus has just texted in to say, the female orgasm, nature's Rubik's Cube. Ashley, see if you can get through this now.
Okay.
At a past orgasm, you've already left, but that's okay. Just chill out and hang out with the rest.
Come back.
At a past orgasm retreat, a 60-year-old gal
I'm out. Oh, sorry.
Well, I've lost two of you now?
I didn't mean that. I forgot how old I am. I'm fine with that.
Who said she was, quote, sexually dormant after years of a sexless marriage.
I like how she phrased that.
She laid herself out on a massage table, and she was, quote, guided to a climax in front of the other women who were each waiting their turn.
This is like every masseuse porno that's out there.
Yes, it is. It is. The masseuse porno movies, this is how they all play out.
Yes, I didn't know they were based on real events.
So
wow.
These masseuse porno movies.
Yeah.
I can imagine what happens.
You can predict just about everything.
Is it something where the person getting which way does it go? Who's getting massaged, guy, girl, or does it vary?
Well, the ones that are the most popular, without question, is when the hot female goes to see the hot female masseuse.
Oh, I never even thought of that.
Yeah, there's no men anywhere near the hot masseuse porn. Yeah.
Is it a surprise for the person on the table? Or
yeah.
It is.
Yep, they claim that.
And the masseuse usually says something like, look, I don't try this on everybody, but...
And then the one on the table's like, I don't know if we should be doing this. I don't know if I like it.
And then a third scorching hot female
they bring
walks
in. A third?
Yes, and she says, I have a 9:15 appointment. What's taking so long? And then she gets, and it's just a mess. It's a mess. By the end, they need a mop.
Man.
Yeah.
You guys are living. 2 girls, huh?
Sometimes 3, 4.
Nice. And they filmed this. Thank God there's a camera in there.
Right.
Someone left their camera on. Another exercise. I told you that we were probably only going to get through a couple of stupid news stories here. Another exercise involved is called the art of adoration. And the women's are instructed to dress in something that makes them feel beautiful.
Well, a couple of the pictures I saw, these are sexy ladies. And maybe those are the ones they put on the brochure. Oh, your face disagrees?
Well, I didn't see the same pictures you did. But I'm thinking that might have been doctored up.
Could be, yeah. I mean, those are the ones they put on the brochure, right?
I mean, when you see an ad for a touristy spot, Come to Disneyland. I'll just use them as an example. What do they show in the ad? Just the happiest, most adorable, clean-cut families of all time skipping around the Disneyland property.
Mom, Dad, one boy, one girl.
Right. And they're gorgeous.
Of course.
When you really go there, it's a pack of derelicts, barely dressed, uglier than a bag full of...
Well, what do you think? This is what I was talking about. She does something for me.
She looks like a pretty lady.
Yeah.
I don't like the hat.
She has a terrible hat.
You got to wear a hat at orgasm camp, okay, Ashley? That's one of the rules.
You got to wear, but Ashley said,
I didn't even look that high.
We all know that you should wear a hat at an orgasm retreat. All Ashley's saying is wear the right hat.
If you look on their Instagram, that lady is all over the Instagram.
She might be one of the instructors.
Yeah, she run the joint?
There's this weird photo of her. You got to see this.
She's the one who puts that glove on her hand and burp. What am I looking?
She's like hiding behind a rock.
She's half naked hiding behind a rock. It looks like she's taking a piss in the woods.
What is that?
We're not even going to get through 2 stupid news stories.
This is fascinating.
This is good.
$15,000.
Again, this exercise I was telling you about, the art of adoration. The women are instructed to dress in something that makes them feel beautiful. And then they say, the instructors tell them, just lay down on the floor over here. And then the instructors say, let's just put this blindfold on you. And then they turn on some hippie music, and the sex educators touch their thighs and play with their hair, or graze their skin with various textures, like fur. Fur.
That's a nice feeling.
It is.
For those about to orgasm.
Yeah.
Never worn or touched fur outside of petting a dog or cat.
There was a movie called 40 Days, 40 Nights where Josh Hartnett gives a woman an orgasm just by using a feather.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Must have been one hell of a feather.
Here's another quote. I don't know why I said another.
From a cockatoo?
A cockatoo?
What kind of feather was it?
Oh, I don't know exactly.
Doesn't matter.
It's been years.
I thought maybe you were assuming I had a quote from a cockatoo. Here's a quote.
Think of a dirty bird name for that.
This is a lady who traded $15,000 to be molested in the woods. And she said this. And by the way, you have to drink every time she says sports car. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Drink every time she says sports car. The gal said, it's like you've been walking around in this incredible sports car. Now, first off, let's dissect that statement. It's like you've been walking around inside this incredible sports car.
Yeah, sports cars are usually quite small.
Right. Okay. It's like you've been walking around in this incredible sports car that no one has driven correctly. And then suddenly, someone knows how to drive your sports car. And you realize that the sports car that the world has told you is too small or too big or too fat or too hairy or not enough was actually the perfect sports car all along.
It's beautiful.
Orgasm retreat, huh? You got it. That'll be $15,000.
That's just insane. Just look up a video on YouTube. Buy some toys.
I'd get kicked out for stupid jokes. Like after everyone left, I'd say, hey, thanks for coming, or I hope you're glad you came.
Son of a bitch. Josh, we're going to run late if we get into this next story.
Yeah, I think this one's going to take a while as well.
Maybe we should save this. I don't know what to do. I hate this because I don't want to run late, but this story is friggin' incredible.
Always something to look forward to for tomorrow.
Something to look forward to tomorrow, he
Sometimes
says.
you need that, right? It gets you through the day.
Called a tease. Maybe I can get through one more quick one. Okay.
I won't be here tomorrow, though. I'm going to orgasm camp.
As an instructor or?
A little bit of both. You know, it's always good to give yourself a refresher course, too.
Going to be an intern?
Here's an example.
You got to be kidding me with this one, but I'll go fast. And some dude from India sued his neighborhood movie theater for playing too many trailers, and the guy made money on this. Speaking of scams, the guy made money on this scam. It wasn't a fortune, maybe around $3,000. He complained that having to watch too many advertisements before a movie caused him to miss important work meetings.
You don't have to show up.
Right.
Dude.
And a real-life judge in a real-life courtroom went along with that. Dude said he went on into the movie house one night a couple years ago, so it took a while for this to go to court. The movie was scheduled to begin at 4 o'clock and end at 6:30, but the movie was delayed for nearly half an hour because the theater played trailers, advertisements, and other fillers. The delay caused him to miss, quote, other arrangements and appointments scheduled that day, resulting in losses which cannot be calculated in terms of money as a compensation.
Can you imagine somebody goes to the Disturbed 3 Days Grace show tonight? They're late for work because one of the bands played an encore.
Right.
You know, nothing I could do.
And you stand there in court.
I had to wait for Sound of Silence.
I don't know about you guys, but I love getting to the movie theater early just so that I can watch all the trailers and, like, do the little trivia that comes up.
I don't mind that stuff at all.
Now, I've heard that movie chains, I don't know if it's going to be required or they just choose to do it. They will say, hey, here's when all this stuff starts, but the movie actually starts at this time. It's been a while for me since I've gone. Do you guys know if they do that?
I haven't seen it, no.
I don't believe so.
But
no.
I do know just roughly it's about 20 minutes after this. The movie will start about, say the movie's going to start at 4 o'clock, it says. It'll actually start about 4:20. It's about 20 minutes of trailers and advertisements.
Oh, I'm busy at 4:20.
I love watching those. They're always like the same trailer of the famous person like sitting in the movie theater.
Oh, Nicole Kidman?
Telling us to turn our phones on silent. It's my favorite.
How about this friggin' guy? How about don't go to a movie that on paper ends at 6:30 when you have to be somewhere at 6:35?
Right.
He didn't consider that.
Get a Prime account.
But he got some money out of the deal.
This is a good scam.
Yeah. The judge said, hey, no one has the right to mess with someone's time and money. He found the right judge.
Yeah, who's this judge?
By the way, back to the orgasm retreat, which was the big story in today's Stupid News. One of our listeners, where is he? I can't find the name anymore. Here it is. Slightly below average Jesus. He said, it's not that my wife can't orgasm. It's that I can't make her orgasm.
You know what? At least you're telling the truth.
She has the ability.
You are a friggin' pimp.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Final boss is now John Cena. John Cena. Please, John Cena, don't. Please, John. Please. I don't like any of this. Stop. Stop.
Oh, no.
My God, that's audio of Dana watching the WWE pay-per-view a couple days ago.
You were really upset with John Cena's heel turn.
I was a little bit, yes.
Now, every day, Josh gives me a little piece of paper, a heads up on what we're using for intros. So what I just heard was your friend's child crying during the John Cena heel turn a couple of nights ago on pay-per-view.
The girl that just turned 5 years old, 5-year-old girl, was just beside herself that John Cena went heel and beat up Cody Rhodes.
That's exactly what they were going for.
That's awesome.
How did your friend know to record that? Or the kid was kind of going crazy and she just pulled out the phone?
She knew what had happened, and they watched it later on.
Oh, okay.
So she knew to record her reaction to it.
Oh, that's cute, but also sad.
Oh, I was heartbroken because I remember being that age and being that sad. Like when Lex Luger turned heel when I was a kid, I was that devastated.
Is that when he became the narcissist?
Yeah.
Lex Luger? Mm-hmm. Hey, will your friend do me a favor? Will your friend show that 5-year-old girl the video of Sid Vicious breaking his leg back in the day on WCW?
Don't think she's quite ready for that.
I want her reaction to a compound fracture. That's good stuff. 3 in a row for my beloved Timberwolves. They took care of business last night in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hey, Nick, real quick to go back to the turning heel thing. My wife's listening. Everybody be cool.
Yeah.
She just texted and said that's how she felt when Andre the Giant turned heel.
Oh!
See, everybody has one, you know,
Yeah,
that impacted them as a young person.
I remember that. He aligned himself with Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Yeah.
Set up for, if your wife's still mad about it, which I would understand if she's still mad about Andre the Giant turning heel, that's what it took to set up the legendary match with Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 3.
Oh, that's what it was.
That's what it took. And then what did Hogan do? He picked him up, he slammed him. And Jesse the Body said, I don't believe it. No, Gorilla, no.
And according to WWE, there was 900,000 people at the Silverdome that night.
That's a
Welcome to the Silverdome. There are 900,000 here this evening. Yeah, I was watching when that happened. The Golden Gopher basketball team had a good game last night against Wisconsin. Didn't turn out the way they wanted it to. When Randy Shaver jumps in here in a half hour, we can tell you about what happened yesterday at the boys' state high school hockey tournament and what they got scheduled for today.
Right now with an Irish whip in. He missed the foot underneath that. Oh, he dropped the big guy. Look at Heenan. He's been on
Oh, my God.
That's the first time I think that the Giants ever been knocked off his feet like that. Look at the look on the face of the champion. He's hulking up, Jess. I don't know if he's got enough left in him. The greatest professional athlete in the world today. Look at this. He's slammed it. I don't believe it. Dropping a big leg. Over for the cover. It's over. Unbelievable. I never thought it could be done, Gorilla.
You know, great moment and everything, but it would have been that much better had the crowd been slightly invested in what was happening around them.
Really, it seemed like everybody was out buying hot dogs. Nobody cared.
Oh, the Hogan Giant match? Yeah, I'll go get a dog.
No reaction from the crowd, no pop from the crowd at all when that happened. That's great audio. We got to take a break. Stay tuned for Josh's news report.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit StandardHeating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
Michael Rosenbaum and his Small Bill co-stars take you behind the scenes of one of the greatest shows of all time.
Talkville.
I just had a flashback.
Tom Welling's here.
We're going to do a podcast
Throughout the year, we've got a lot of season ahead of us.
It's big talk.
This is good fan stuff.
Yeah, there was some good
stuff. If you're watching the show, this is good stuff.
Yeah.
On Smallville.
Yeah.
They made it like this is the first time they've seen the guy ball.
That's hard.
I thought it was pretty dark.
It's Talkville.
We're pumped.
The Smallville Rewatch Podcast.
You got to be a part of it.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Kept shooting me, man. Shot me 4 more times while I was on the ground. Shot me 4 more times.
A misguided Missouri dad has been convicted of shooting a volunteer youth football coach in the back for not giving his 9-year-old son enough playing time.
Oh, no.
This kid is good, though. I'll give him that.
Well, he's not good enough to start, Dana. 45-year-old Daryl Clemens shot 34-year-old Shaquille Lattimore, a married father of 5, multiple times near a practice field in St. Louis as a group of 9 and 10-year-old kids on the team played nearby. He targeted the St. Louis Bad Boys coach in a rage over his son's playing time. Clemens, who once coached that same team before Lattimore took over, confronted the volunteer coach in a heated argument. Both men were armed. Tough neighborhood. But Lattimore, trying to de-escalate it, this is the coach, he handed his gun to a friend and said he was ready to settle it with fists.
Oh!
However, Clemens wasn't interested in a fair fight. Instead, he pulled his gun and fired 5 times, again, hitting the coach in the back.
Ready to kill somebody.
Yep, the back.
Yeah.
I didn't see his gun until it was already too late, Lattimore, who has since recovered, recalled. As Lattimore lay bleeding on the ground, Clemens then taunted him. After shooting me, he was like, I told you I was going to pop your ass, Lattimore said. Sorry for the language. Clemens ran from the scene, but later turned himself in. Lattimore told authorities Clemens was upset with him for not starting his son. St. Louis Circuit Attorney Gabe Gore confirmed that shooting, calling it outrageous. An outrageous act of violence in a space meant for teaching kids teamwork, discipline, and respect. The victim's mother called it senseless. We're supposed to be bringing these kids off the streets and teaching them what to do, what not to do, she said. Instead, we've got all these kids traumatized because their coach was shot in front of them. He could have easily hit one of the children, she said.
I didn't even consider that.
A jury found Clemens guilty of assault and armed criminal action, and he'll learn his sentence a week from today.
So long, sucker. We're not going to see you for a while. And, I'm going to say something out loud, Josh, that 10 years ago I would have been disgusted to hear out loud, but I'm going to say it. If I ever have a kid, I'm pushing him to play video games. I'm going to pressure him to, what are you doing outside? Get inside and play video games.
Yep. Well, the problem there is he'll get swatted. I mean, you can't win. You can't
swatted.
You can't win.
I don't want that either, whatever that is.
It's not just derelict dads making the news this morning. A couple of misguided moms are making headlines today as well. A 45-year-old Texas mother is on the run after storming into her child's middle school and threatening to shoot it up because she didn't like bullying or apparently recognizing irony.
Right.
On the morning of January 30th at Hoffman Middle School, officers received a call about an unauthorized person on campus. According to authorities, Cicely Walker bypassed security measures by slipping through a locked door behind a student who had been granted entry. She drafted the kid. A vigilant school clerk quickly noticed Walker wasn't supposed to be there and alerted the principal, but the situation spiraled out of control from there. Walker reportedly stormed through the halls, loudly confronting students and causing a major disruption.
Screaming at kids.
Yeah. Two 12-year-old students told police she was yelling aggressively at them before bursting into the school cafeteria and confronting several students, including those she believed had perhaps bullied her child. She wasn't sure. Walker allegedly warned them she'd be back and would, quote, shoot up the school.
Oh.
A background check revealed Walker has a criminal history and had previously been booked into jail.
Yeah, that kid's totally not going to get bullied anymore.
Yeah, they'll leave the kid alone after that.
You think you were embarrassed when your mom walked into junior high because you forgot your acne medication at home? Wait till your mom walks into the joint and threatens to bomb it.
An Indiana mom just earned herself a one-way ticket to prison for accidentally running over her 8-year-old daughter. She did so while playing a game with her kids where she'd drive away and pretend to abandon them. 27-year-old Jasmine White was playing that when one of her children described the game. She'd apparently race her kids to the car, lock the doors, and then act like she was going to leave them behind. One of her daughters got her foot caught under the rear tire as the car moved, pulling her to the ground.
Oh.
It was bad. She fractured her skull, suffered orbital fractures, bruises, and a cut to her face so deep reached the bone.
F me.
She also lost 5 teeth, spending several days in the hospital. One of the girl's siblings told investigators about the game and said their mom was driving faster than usual, the 8-year-old holding onto the door handle when she was run over. Investigators learned about the game from one of those siblings who spilled the beans that mom was driving way faster than usual. Surveillance footage confirmed mom hit the gas while the daughter was clinging to that passenger door handle. They think she's going about 20 miles an hour. Now she'll spend about 4 years in prison and another 5 on work release.
Really?
Oh, sucks to suck.
That went sideways on him, Cubby.
Yeah. I mean, I can see the humor in it, but maybe you wouldn't speed away necessarily.
Jeez Louise.
80s rock band Faster Pussycats frontman. This is a terrible story. Tammy Down. He lost his fiancée in a tragic incident when she went overboard during an 80s-themed rock cruise. The search for 56-year-old Kimberly Birch began immediately after she fell from the Royal Caribbean ship. A passenger video captured the moment the public address system alerted passengers as smaller boats raced around the ship in a desperate attempt to find her.
We do actually have a person overboard, and just to advise you, the captain has turned the ship around.
Police say preliminary reports indicate on Sunday, shortly after 10 p.m., the victim is alleged to have gotten into an argument with her fiancé and unfortunately jumped overboard.
I guess I'd like to believe that she was wearing funky shoes and slipped on a wet deck and went flying or something after one too many beverages. I literally just can't believe this is true. I can't believe it.
She jumped off the ship into the friggin' ocean?
It appears that's what happened.
Oh, that's so sad.
They're still investigating, but witnesses say that's what they saw. Kimberly had joined Tammy and Faster Pussycat on the 80s cruise out of Miami. The band was a featured act. They had just performed hours before she went overboard. The U.S. Coast Guard sent a helicopter crew and other personnel to assist the Royal Bahamas Defense Force in the search, but Kimberly's body, at least at press time, wasn't found.
That's one of the worst friggin' stories I've ever heard.
I know. Well, at first when it broke, they weren't sure, was she pushed?
Yeah.
Because they were fighting.
Right.
They were fighting. Did she jump? Did she fall? And now it seems witnesses are saying, we watched her jump.
I've been, for some reason, learning more about these kind of situations where somebody goes overboard on a cruise, because I always thought that cruise ships went relatively slow. but I've learned that they go a lot faster than you think so. So if you go overboard, I mean, you're out of sight
They're not
within a
finding
couple
you.
of minutes. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Tame me down from Faster Pussycat, huh?
Been a while since I thought about him. And, unfortunately, this is the news.
I was a big fan of their first record. I mean, their first record grabbed me when I was a 10th grade kid. I saw him live a few times. You know, I've seen interviews with the guy. Seems like a nice enough guy. That is brutal.
For more than 40 years, Stephen Campbell lived a lie, hiding in plain sight under the identity of a dead man. But last month, the fugitive's decades-long deception got a kick to the nuts. Campbell, now 76, vanished in 1983 while awaiting trial in Wyoming for planting a bomb in a toolbox and leaving it on the doorstep of his estranged wife's boyfriend.
Poor guy.
Yes, it was bad. When the box exploded, it severed his wife's diddling finger.
No.
Out on bond, Campbell skipped town and disappeared, only to resurface under a new name. He became Walter Lee Kaufman, a former University of Arkansas classmate who died in a 1975 car crash.
And to think that this man would come in there and just desecrate his name is really so hard to take.
And for decades, it worked until Campbell tried to renew his driver's license just a couple years ago.
To think, after all these years, that this person has used his identity for their own gain. It's so sad, just so devastating.
Fraud investigators uncovered the truth, linking him to a name that should have been buried in the past, 1975. The year Captain and Tennille's Love Will Keep Us Together dominated the charts.
Well, that's a big one.
When U.S. Marshals tracked him down to his property in Weed, New Mexico last month, they found more than just an aging fugitive. He greeted them with a scoped rifle loaded and ready to fire, police said. Hiding in the woods, armed and over-prepared for a standoff, officials found him with 57 guns and armor-piercing ammunition. He's facing up to 10 years in prison.
Sounds like a stable individual. So even after all these years, he was ready for him.
Yeah.
He was waiting on him. He must have got a tip from somebody that he was so ready to roll. Well, what a story.
A Maryland man who called 911 to report a building fire ended up in handcuffs because, according to fire officials, he was the one who set the blaze in the first place in order to film firefighters for social media content. Authorities say 21-year-old Joshua Jackson dialed emergency services Saturday night, claiming he just stumbled upon a fire in a vacant building while returning from a DoorDash delivery. But investigators weren't buying his heroic bystander act and quickly called his bluff, accusing him of starting the fire himself, then sticking around to film firefighters in action.
Deputy State Fire Marshals learned he's made several 911 calls in the region, and he later admitted to setting that fire to make a video.
Where does he go home and whack off to this stuff or what?
Well, he was going to post it on social media.
Social media?
Yeah. Hey, check out my... It's amazing, all these crimes I capture. Check out my channel.
Like button.
You got to smash that like button.
You have to.
Arson is a serious crime that puts lives at risk and places an unnecessary burden on our first responders, the state fire marshals said. Now officials are looking into whether this was a one-time stunt or if Jackson had been involved in other suspicious fires.
If he's got such a hard-on for fires and firefighters, he must have known that they're pretty skilled in figuring out how these damn things started.
Yeah, and they figured it out immediately.
Yeah.
They could tell right away.
How did you think you were going to fool these people? They're brilliant.
And the guy's sullying the good name of Joshua Jackson, one of my favorite actors. I love that guy.
Who the hell is Joshua Jackson?
What's he been in?
Charlie Conway in Mighty Ducks, Pacey Whitaker in Dawson's Creek. Nick's
Dawson's Creek?
Yeah. Did you know any songs from that show by chance?
I don't want to wait. Of course he had to be in Mighty Ducks.
Oh, I do love that guy, though.
Minnesota lawmakers are trying to shut down a bizarre loophole which allows prosecutors to count bong water as a controlled substance.
What? Oh, I would have been SOL.
That turns what might be a minor drug offense into a first-degree felony with a potential sentence of decades in prison.
Just to have bong water in your house?
Just
something like that?
some bong water, yeah.
Did you leave a lot of it laying around the house, Ashley?
I used to keep one in the back of my vehicle when I was going from like my house to a friend's house.
Stinky.
Yeah. There was a one time where
You spilled it?
It spilled, and that smell,
Yeah.
it took a year, if not a year, years to get out. Oh.
Really? It was that bad? I've never had the
awful.
pleasure. Never had the pleasure.
I used to put it on my Wheaties.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wheaties.
Puts hair in your chest.
Makes me nauseated.
Counting dirty bong water as pure drugs is like treating a beer bottle full of backwash and cigarette butts as 80-proof whiskey, the attorney said.
Yeah.
Bong water has an unusual legal history in Minnesota. In 2009, the state Supreme Court explicitly ruled that it could be classified as a controlled substance. The backlash was swift, with national media mocking that decision. In response, the legislature passed a bill exempting bong water, but only under 4 ounces. Lawmakers renewed that exemption the following year. Fast forward to 2023, Minnesota decriminalized drug paraphernalia, including items with drug residue, but somehow the bong water loophole was left intact. Now, a new bill aims to fix that oversight. It's currently awaiting review by the public safety committees in both the House and Senate.
It reminds me of, I believe it's in Wisconsin. I could be wrong, and it could have changed since I was younger, but grinders, so they're what you use to grind up your weed. I always was warned that those are a felony in Wisconsin, even if they're empty, because they know what you're doing with them.
I don't know about all these damn drugs.
It's confusing. Like when you say, "Oh yeah, weed's legal," somebody will say, "Well, that's not exactly true." So I can't figure it out.
I'm unable to follow it. I'm more into firefighters and arson.
I thought it was kind of crazy the other day. I went to the local library and they had a sign that said marijuana-free zone. So I imagine we're going to start seeing those signs everywhere now.
Free marijuana? That's awesome. I didn't know you get free marijuana at the library.
That's what I was picturing, some high school kids changing the order of that sentence. What's being called one of the most highly anticipated comedies of the year has a release date now.
What is that?
Happy Gilmore 2.
F me.
Officially teeing off on Netflix July 25th.
Oh, good. We got a ways to go yet.
Nearly 30 years after the original became a cult classic.
I still have time to stop this, Josh. Not till July.
Stay away.
Adam Sandler's bringing back his role as Happy Gilmore for another round. Ever since news broke a sequel was in the works, golf lovers and movie buffs have been eager for details, and now Netflix released them. Happy Gilmore 2 begins streaming on Netflix Friday, July 25th, which I looked up yesterday. It's also National Hot Fudge Sundae Day, so maybe you can combine those two. The streaming service gave audiences a sneak peek in Full Swing Season 3, where Sandler was spotted filming alongside some PGA Tour stars.
My favorite thing about Happy Gilmore is Adam Sandler recently revealed that the studio didn't want to name it Happy Gilmore. They wanted a more catchy title, and their suggestion was Hole in Fun.
Oh
so bad.
That is pretty bad.
Dude.
Hole in Fun.
He made the right call on that one. Shaquille O'Neal is 53 today.
Yeah, we used to like him.
Yeah, I still do. But
no, you don't.
There was a dip in my like for him.
Not after what
learned about the poop prank.
Yeah.
Martin Kove, real jerk in Karate Kid and Cobra Kai. John Kreese. He's 79.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck to the Lakeville South hockey team as they take on the Spuds tonight in the state AA hockey tournament from Papa Hearts. Good luck to our buddy Jimmy Jig. He's only 12, and he's getting his pinky finger fixed today from Catheter Slinging Jesus. Happy birthday to my mom, who's put up with a lot around here.
Is it your mama birthday?
Yes.
Today.
Happy birthday,
What
Mommy.
does she want for her birthday?
You know, it's really strange.
Oh, no.
She wants... I swear this is true. She emailed me, my brother, and my sister. And all she wants for her birthday is for us to watch a particular show on Amazon Prime that she likes.
Oh. She wants you to get together with her or
No,
just watch it in your own time and get back to
And
her?
it's only 3 seasons she wants me to watch.
Oh my gosh, that's a commitment.
Yeah, I don't understand what's
Very interesting. You know the show?
I'd never
You're
heard of
familiar with it?
No, I hadn't heard of it.
Are you going to do this for her? Sit down and watch this?
I will Wikipedia it and tell her I watched all of it.
Okay, fair enough. The Cliff Notes. You'll look at the Cliff Notes.
Yeah, pretty much. Maybe I'll just find a YouTube video that summarizes all 3 seasons.
That is a strange and original request for a birthday present.
I thought maybe it was spam. Nope, it's just Mom.
I want you to watch this program.
Yeah.
That's great. Happy birthday, Josh, Mama. Sorry about all the things that happen around here.
Yeah. And doesn't play well with others. Jesus, text the Luther Bloomington Kia text line to wish Outdoor Ice Rink Jesus a happy birthday. They'll soon be sailing away to the Western Caribbean. Hope that's great. And that's 93X News.
Randy Shaver.
Big time onions. Goodness.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Ball to McDaniels. Get McDaniels. He must be on that new diet. Slim slow. Random. McDaniels. Edwards. Back to McDaniels. Spinning inside. Fading away. Oh, he's in his bag.
Damn right. Slim, they call him. Jaden McDaniels had a nice night. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Hello, Ass Man.
Good morning.
By damn Randy Shaver. Today is the day, isn't it?
Today is the day, yes.
Today's the day you pack up your Bermuda shorts.
Yes.
And your
sadly.
And your metal detector.
Yes.
You
Put
walk
away my sunglasses.
Slow motion walk off the beach.
Yeah.
Dramatic.
Pack up the car and leave Florida.
That's correct.
You can take the man out of Florida, but you can't take Florida out of the man.
He's bringing some Florida back with him.
Are you excited? I mean, are you happy to be coming home?
Mixed emotions?
Yeah, it's really funny. Obviously, I've never done this before. This was the first time we've ever been able to, quote-unquote, snowbird. And I wasn't really sure if I'd like it. I would say that my wife is 50-50 on whether she would do this again, but I think she would come home in the middle of it because she misses work and misses her office. Obviously, I don't miss mine. So, but yeah, all in all, it's been great. The weather's been phenomenal, and that's why you do this. So
there were some good times. There was some drama.
Yeah. There was a lot of drama.
Unfortunately,
2 weeks of terrible drama.
Yeah,
that we could have done without. And I think that, to be honest, our overall perspective on doing something like this would have been totally different had Bella not gotten sick and been in the hospital for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all would have enjoyed this a lot more. But having said that, she's fine. She's doing great. And it's turned out to be a lot of fun. So
rate the entire experience on a scale of 1 to 10.
I would say it was an 8.5.
Well, that's a pretty good review.
That's really good, yeah.
I would say 8.5. The house that we rented is awesome. The area we're in is really nice. Just no complaint. The traffic's horrible. That's the only thing that I would actually really complain about as far as Florida goes.
Traffic sucks.
It does suck down here.
Did the drivers suck also? Was it a mix of the drivers are terrible drivers?
Oh, God, they're awful.
Yeah.
Randy, you mentioned the house that you rented, but personally, I'm excited for you to see the redecoration of your Minnesota house that we did. The four of us got together. We touched it up a little bit. I think you're really going to like what we did.
There are some inappropriate posters.
Yep. Some cardboard cutouts of all of us.
Unlike...
in different places in my house.
Yes.
Surprise me when I walk in.
Yeah, you be careful you open that shower curtain. That's all I'm going to say.
Got your old Farrah Fawcett poster on the wall again.
Yeah,
You've got less bedrooms but more stripper poles. Are you going to... So the Florida house you rented, are you going to be able to get your deposit back, unlike Jimmy Butler, who we talked about earlier this week?
Oh, man.
Tore that thing up?
I think I will be, yes.
You'll be good?
Yes, we were very good house tenants.
Well, your wife will keep you in line.
Today's the day, Randy Shaver.
Yep. So today we're heading to Savannah, Georgia today. I've always wanted to go to Savannah. And so we're going to stay there tonight.
A historic place, I
very
understand.
Historic,
yes.
Yeah. So that's on our way. And then we'll be back late Saturday night. That's the plan.
So how many hours is that today that you'll be behind the wheel?
It's about 4.5.
Okay, not terrible.
From where we are. And then we're going to go to Knoxville on Friday because my college roommate from Iowa State lives there. And so we're going to have dinner with him and his wife and see them. And then on Saturday, we're going to dive in with both feet and try to get straight back from Knoxville, which is about a 13-hour drive. So
heading back home, sweet home.
And hopefully the snow will be melted. That's what I'm hoping
I think
for.
so.
It'll be gone by the time you get here Saturday
Super.
night. If not, it'll be
Super.
gone sometime Sunday afternoon. So this is the longest you've ever stayed away from home.
Oh, yeah. Well, other than covering the Olympics in '96 in Atlanta, because I was in Atlanta for 5 weeks.
Dude.
For the Olympic Games. Yeah, we were there a week before it started, basically.
More than that.
And we couldn't get out of there until like a few days after it was over because we just couldn't get a flight.
You know who else was at the Olympics in Atlanta in 1996, Josh?
Ooh.
Well, I understand you probably wouldn't know. The two of you are unfamiliar. My wife.
I've known her for decades. I just saw her walk by.
Was at the Olympics in Atlanta in
What'd she compete in?
1996. Oh, she was judo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she competed for America in the judo competition. My folks snowbirded a couple of winters, one or two.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know where they tried it out, Randy Shaver?
Arizona.
It was not Arizona.
Okay.
Keep this in the back of your mind when you and Roseanne, if you decide to do something like this again, they really enjoyed their time on the Gulf Coast of Alabama.
I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
I have been there. There's just not a lot to do.
Oh, really?
If you like the golf, I've been to Gulf Shores. Okay, is that the same place where they were?
They were a little close enough.
In the Gulf Shores,
very close.
You can do a lot of golfing in Gulf Shores.
Well, there is.
Different
There's
spelling.
I know, but that's satisfying.
Yeah.
There's Robert Trent Jones golf courses. At least there was the last time I was there. All in that area.
My folks weren't golfing; they're alcoholics.
Sometimes those things go hand in hand.
You can do that anywhere.
Yes, that's true.
But
I played my best golf with a few drinks in my hand. Yeah.
They enjoyed it down there. They were a lot older than you, and so they weren't looking to be active. They just wanted a nice, warm spot.
Just want the warm. Yeah.
I told the old man, though, before he went down to Alabama, I said, roll tide. And he said, what? And I said, that's how they greet each other down there.
Right.
And he didn't believe me. But the first time he went to a gas station to buy a pack of cigarettes, after they made the transaction, my dad said, thank you. And the guy behind the counter said, roll tide.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was that serious. Wow.
They're sickening down there with that. Sickening.
Yeah, that's a nice area. Were they on the beach? Were they on the
they were on the beach.
Yeah.
No,
it's
they
nice
loved
area.
the food. They went to, we just got done with Mardi Gras, right? They went down there for a few months in the winter, like Randy and his wife did. They were down there, and they were Mardi Gras parties, and they thought it was all right. Maybe wait a few years on that.
Yeah, that's not too far from here. That's that's not a super long drive from here. But
well, we wish you the best. Well, we'll talk to you tomorrow then from Savannah.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
I hope it's a wonderful journey.
I do too.
Excited to see the souvenirs you bring us home.
Souvenirs?
Yeah. A nice mug with her name on it.
If you saw my car right now, there's no way I could fit anything else in my car.
Not even a magnet from
It's
Savannah
amazing.
or something?
And how much of that belongs to you?
Well, it's amazing because I told my son and his wife and that we would bring their big suitcase down just so that they're dragging two kids through the airport. I said, let me just help you. I'll put it in my car and we'll bring it down. The idea was they would take it back. Well, obviously, when Bella got sick, they had to split. My daughter-in-law and my grandson left early to get home, and then my son and Bella left later. So neither one of them could drag the big suitcase back with them. So now I've got that again in my car, along with, and my wife, Roseanne just said to me, are we taking more stuff back that we brought? And I'm going, it feels like it. I don't know how we did that, but yeah. So
our listeners are texting in on your trip home now, Randy Shaver. He's leaving Florida today, heading back to Minnesota, driving. One listener texted in to warn you that Savannah, Georgia smells like poop.
Uh-oh.
You're stopping in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yes,
I don't know what this means, and maybe you do, or we'll have to look it up. Social Anxiety Jesus, a regular texter around here, says you should stop at the World's Fair Tower in Knoxville and check out all of the wigs.
It's a Simpsons reference.
Wigs?
That's a deep cut Simpsons reference right there.
Oh, my gosh.
Dickhead. Simpsons reference.
It's like a random episode from season 7.
Oh, wow,
That's great.
How do you know the season?
I watch a lot of Simpsons.
My God.
I love you, Dana.
Florida Hockey Jesus texted in and said, you're not kidding. Florida drivers are the absolute worst.
Oh.
People will stop on the highway to take a selfie in front of Disneyland. Stop on the highway.
I've seen a few along the sides of the road, yes.
Okay, I just looked it up and I was right. Season 7, episode 20.
That's bizarre.
You have a problem.
Respect.
Plenty of problems.
Plenty. Yes,
Did
exactly.
you ever consider dragging a metal detector up and down the beach while you were in Florida?
Of course not, no.
Well, why not?
Hey, do you still have yours?
I have. Yes, I do.
You do have one?
Well, what I have is, I don't know what you call it. Well,
I thought they were metal detectors.
Maybe I thought it had a different name. It was meant to find the property lines.
Like a locator? Is it the
Yes.
same? Okay.
It was meant to find the property lines on my property. But I believe it works very similarly. But someone might be able to, someone who works for the county or something, probably can text in and tell me if they're similar as I think or not. I would absolutely drag a metal detector up and down the beach if I went to a touristy spot like wherever the hell you were.
Well, when we were in Fort Myers at the right after Thanksgiving, we were there for a week. I saw we were on Fort Myers Beach. I saw probably 5 different times someone with a metal detector going up and down that beach.
Wouldn't you do that too, Josh?
Why
not? Just one afternoon? You don't know. You might find
It might be kind of fun.
a C-ring or something funny.
That would be so fun.
Those usually plastic.
I want to use that anywhere. It doesn't have to be on a beach. I want to use it in the parking lot here at work.
Yeah.
I used one at a volleyball court once trying to find my wedding ring.
Did you find it?
Nope. Decided to get divorced instead. It was just easier that way.
I got some bad news for you, honey.
That was the start of the end.
Oh, you're talking about a sand volleyball.
Yeah, sand volleyball.
I was picturing it in a gymnasium somewhere.
So was I.
Why do you need a metal detector to find a ring at a gymnasium?
Wait, did you lose rings for both of your marriages or just the first?
Yes, I have both.
Both.
Oh my gosh, that's funny because like a couple days ago, Nick, you met my future in-laws.
I did.
And
troubled people.
We were talking about you being married, and they mentioned they're like, does he wear a ring?
Oh.
And I thought, like, well, he did at one point.
No, I lost both of them. The first time around and this time around, I lost them. I mean, the first one wasn't terribly valuable either, but it was a legitimate ring. This one, my wife knows me. She's known me for 35 effing years. She knew there was no point in getting me a real ring because it's going to fall off. I'm going to lose it. I'm a donkey. I mean, look at me. So we got one of those rubber ones for me.
Oh, yeah, silicone ring.
Silicone, that's what it is. Yeah. And I have no idea. I put it on, and an hour later it was gone. So, and she doesn't give a rat's ass.
Your body rejected it.
Yeah, that might have been it. Yeah. Deep down, my body said, "You're not built for this."
This represents commitment.
Right. Oh, God, it was like, some folks who say they get hot under the collar when they walk into church,
I've never thought I could pull off jewelry. So I had asked my wife if she'd mind if I didn't wear one, and that did not go over well. So you notice I have one on.
Your wife's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, no, that's not true.
Of course not.
Now, look at me when I say that.
Hey.
He's nodding his head. You're nodding.
Not true.
All right, so what the hell's going on, Randy Shaver? That's 3 in a row from my beloved Timberwell. They took care of business in Charlotte, North Carolina last night. They beat the hometown Hornets by 15 points.
As they should. That's a game. That's a team and a game they should win.
Absolutely. Edwards and McDaniels both scored 29 points.
Yeah. The thing that stood out to me was the rebounding last night. Between Randall, McDaniels, and Reed, they all had 10 10 boards apiece.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on with Gobert? I have been trying to find. I looked last night. I looked this morning. What is the latest on Rudy Gobert? Is he not coming back, or what's going on?
That's a good question. I have to be honest.
I have not seen anything that says he's close, or
was it a calf injury or something? I can't remember.
I think it's a back, isn't it?
The back. Josh is back, killing him.
I don't know, but I mean, not that they. I mean, obviously Naz Reid has done a nice job filling in and done his thing, but it sure would be nice to have Gobert back.
Because when he's on, he can dominate a game. He can. As goofy, as uncoordinated, as hilarious as he can be in certain moments, he is a valuable guy out there for the ball club. My wife and I were just talking about this the other night. We miss watching him out there because it's so effing funny sometimes. Watching him just kind of boopity-doop, and he's got the worst hands in the history of the game. But so, yeah, I'm with you. I don't know what's going on because not much has been said.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing when he's in the lineup, it obviously allows the Wolves to have more depth coming off the bench, because then if Naz Reid doesn't start, obviously he's able to come off the bench. And, between Naz Reid and Nickeil Alexander, and now even Terrence Shannon, they've got a pretty good group coming off the bench. And you had Mike Conley in there too.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got some depth, but without Gobert, they really don't at this point.
One listener,
at least up front on the front line.
Eastbound at sundown, Jesus says Rudy will be back for their next game, which is tomorrow night at Miami.
Fabulous.
What was this other? One listener said a rumor going around that Gobert will be traded for Jared Vanderbilt and a few first-rounders. No, the reverse happened here a couple years ago.
No, that's not going to happen.
Did you guys see the video of Baby Nuts, Luka Doncic, rubbing his sweat all over the basketball and the way it pissed off a referee pretty badly?
That ref was disgusted.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Kind of gross. Why would you do that?
Because he's a douche. For good reason. That referee was pissed off.
Yeah.
Is this up on our website?
Yes, but it's been a minute, so I'll probably have to put it to the top.
We didn't get to talk about this yesterday, so Ashley says it's been a minute because she's young and hip. I would say it's been a couple days. They're playing the Clippers the other night, the Los Angeles Lakers. James Harden, puke, is at the free throw line for the Clippers. Makes his first free throw, the basketball comes falling down, and Doncic grabs the basketball, and he's wiping the sweat off of his face and forehead onto the basketball, and then he drops it towards the official. And this lady official looks at him as if to say, "You gross bastard, I'm not picking this friggin' ball up now."
It's disgusting.
She gave him a delay a game warning, and they had to have a towel kid run off the sidelines there and wipe the ball. It was disrespectful what he did, and he acted like, what? What did I do?
Yeah, it was odd.
He knew what the hell he was doing.
Yeah.
And the funny part of the video is LeBron James hears the whistle for a delay a game warning, and he's just like, what? What happened? There's no way you can convince me that he didn't do that on purpose to mess with the referee.
What was Harden's reaction? Because he's the one that has to shoot the ball.
Oh, well, he sat there, too, as if to say, someone get a towel. I'm not shooting that basketball. What a goofball.
Say what you want, though. I mean, he has made an impact in L.A. The Lakers are number 2 behind Oklahoma City.
They're going to win the damn title, aren't they?
I'm
just so annoying.
I don't think so, but they're scary now, for sure.
Yeah. It is nothing but laughs in Dallas, Texas, though.
I tell you what's impressive, though. OKC has an 11-game lead over the Lakers in the Western Conference.
Yeah, I love the Thunder.
I'm just saying, that's phenomenal.
They've got this thing buttoned up.
Oh, my gosh.
The Western Conference, at least.
Oh, for sure. And Cleveland's the same way in the East. It's just amazing, these two teams, and how good they are compared to the other really good basketball teams. The Lakers are good. Denver's really good. You know, Boston's really good, and they're 8 games behind Cleveland. It's just amazing.
In Dallas, Texas, they learned that Anthony Davis may not play again this season after appearing in just one game.
Kyrie's out too. So what's the
why
point
not
now?
just right?
So
the guy's got an injury. Let him sit it out. The season's over anyway.
It would not surprise me if the Phoenix Suns get into the 10 spot at a sub 500 record, because I don't think Dallas is going to win another game.
They may not.
They're in sad shape. Yeah.
They may not. The NBA has a password or two they might want to change. Basketball fans wet themselves a couple days ago over a message that was posted on the NBA's official Twitter thing. The message said that the NBA was launching its own cryptocurrency called NBA Coin. Randy, did you fall for that? Were you buying up NBA coins?
No, I was not.
The post also came with an address to a crypto wallet, whatever that means. But there is no NBA coin coming out. The whole post was a scam. The same hackers also got into the official Twitter pages of NASCAR and announced that there's going to be NASCAR coins. So they were hacked. What? Ashley, weren't you the one who claimed you had a $10 million crypto coin or something, and then it turned into garbage?
Yeah, it's Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, I used, back when it was worth absolutely nothing, it was pretty equal to the regular dollar. I used it to buy my fake ID. And so it was about $180 worth of Bitcoin that I had at one point.
Okay. And you know for sure that somehow turned into millions of dollars that you lost
so now let me look it up how much it would be worth now.
I know we've had this conversation before, and there were people that contradicted what you were saying because they claim they know. I know absolutely zero about any of these things.
Yeah, so right now it would be worth $16 million.
The thing that you traded for a fake ID today, if you would have kept it in your pocket, would be worth $16 million.
Yep.
You're confident. You're confident in that?
Yes. Yeah. A couple people were trying to, we're arguing that wasn't the case. Like, I promise you, I remember it very specifically because it's the first thing I thought when Bitcoin blew up. Mistakes were made.
Oh, man. I bet you had some good times with that fake ID, though.
Yeah, you know what, Dana? I used it once, and then I was too afraid to use it ever again.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
That's just amazing.
I can't even comprehend that type of
No.
stuff.
It hurts so much.
Yeah.
Now you're stuck with us.
I know.
You would never talk to us again if you had $16 million.
$16 million.
Hey, I'd buy you guys some things.
One-way ticket out of here.
Speaking of messing with the refs, and we're going to get to hockey here in just a minute. A couple listeners have texted in, and no, I did not see this. A high school hockey player was introduced yesterday at the Class A tournament, and he really sprayed the camera guy when he put the hockey stop on. You know how they charge up from the goal line and hit the brakes at the blue line for their intros.
I always wanted to know how to do that.
Oh, you would just keep sliding?
Yeah.
Same here, Dana.
Yeah. Apparently, I missed this. This was the Hibbing versus Laverne game. The camera guy could be heard saying, "Why would you do that?" I missed it. We'll get to hockey in just a minute. Again here, the Durantula has found his way into our little sports conversation. Kevin Durant has a suggestion, an alternative to booing.
Yeah, I always wonder what booing is going to do for your team. It actually makes no sense. If you really wanted to make your voice be heard, just get up and leave, and we'll feel that more than you booing.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's heard a lot of booing at home this year. The Phoenix Suns have not turned out to be what some folks estimated they would be. But I got an answer to that. I mean, when I read the headline, Kevin Durant has a suggestion, an alternative, how do you say that, alternative to booing, I thought, okay, I'll bite. What is it? So he says get up and walk out. Mm-hmm. See, I got a problem with that, Kevin Durant, because I spent $645 on my ticket, and I still have half a $16 beer between my feet. So I'm not getting up and leaving. I'm going to remain and make myself known.
I think the most insulting thing they could do to the players, much more so than booing or leaving, is doing the old wrestling chant, "This is boring. This is boring."
I never considered that, adding a little AEW into
I always thought it was funny when people put bags over their heads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's some decent comedy.
God, that was such a popular bit in the 80s.
It was. The New Orleans Saints used to have, I can remember when the Saints were a lot of teams were bad, but the Saints in particular, when I was growing up, they put the bags over their heads.
I want to say that, Josh, New Orleans Saints fans invented that bit.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't want to be seen at a game, so they put the paper bag over their head with 2 eye holes. But my favorite was, and Randy Shaver, you'll probably remember this, there was a guy at a Saints game, this is in the 80s, like Randy said. He's got the bag over his head, he's got the eye holes cut out, but coming down from one of the eye holes, he drew a couple of tears.
That's true.
That's great.
Friggin' brilliant.
That's a great way to improve that.
That's brilliant.
Oh, man.
Great crowd at the barn last night, and they watched an entertaining and close ball game. Unfortunately, the silly-ass Wisconsin Badgers defeated our Golden Gophers last night by a final of 74-67.
Just couldn't make a free throw down the stretch. I mean, Wisconsin is
always an adventure.
Wisconsin is the best free throw shooting team in the country.
Yeah.
The Gophers are the worst.
And they went 8 for 15 last night, the Golden Gophers.
But they missed some crucial ones down the stretch that could have kept them in the ball game. And then I think I forget the player, but he missed 2 with about 3 minutes left or whatever. The game was somewhat still within reach, and then Wisconsin went on a little run, and that was it. So
senior night, Randy.
Yeah.
So you saw guys like Dawson Garcia, Parker Fox, Mike Mitchell Jr., and a couple others play their final home game.
Yeah, I mean, those guys have been around for 10 years. It's amazing.
Yeah, Parker Fox is 26.
I know. It's amazing.
I saw that the other day. I'm like, oh, my God.
Here's the crazy thing, though. When you look at the Big Ten standings for the men's basketball, there are 5 teams sitting at 7-12. If Iowa wins, I think they play tonight, they would be 7-12. I don't know how it's going to, because there's 1 game left. So, I mean, to make the Big Ten tournament, it really, there's some drama here at the bottom of the standings as to who's going to get in and who might not get in. I know the Gophers finish at Rutgers, and they're both tied at 7-12. And by the way, I'm so confused by this.
Here it comes.
I went online yesterday and looked at NBA mock drafts. Yeah. I know you don't care about this.
But
I do. Do you know that the projected number 2 and number 3 player in the mock drafts for the NBA both play for Rutgers?
No.
What in the hell? You're 7-12? And 14-16 on the year?
You could have given me 3 weeks to come up with what college has 2 players projected to go in the top 5.
In the top 3.
It would have taken me 3 weeks to come up with Rutgers, and I would have died of exhaustion.
Like, what in?
No, who are they?
Well, here, I'm going to look it up here. Because Cooper Flagg is easily the number 1.
From Duke, right?
From Duke. Okay, number 2. Oh, crap.
Cooper Flagg just sounds like a Duke name.
He's such a good player.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Have you watched him play?
He sounds like a puke bag.
Okay, so Dylan Harper for Rutgers is projected to be the number 2 player.
Is that Ron Harper's son?
You know, that's...
I've seen him play.
That's a good question.
I believe that's Ron Harper's son.
If it is. And then the number 3 player is a kid named Ace Bailey for Rutgers.
Okay, I've heard of him.
They're both freshmen.
Okay, so is this just a down year in the draft, or are those guys that good? I don't know. I
don't either.
We'll
but
watch
I'm just
them
saying.
On Sunday.
I went, what?
Yeah.
Rutgers, 2 guys, and you're tied with the Gophers in the standings?
Yeah.
What the?
I'll watch them on Sunday.
Imagine if Ben Johnson had 2 guys projected to go in the top 3 of the NBA draft, and you're 7-12 in the Big Ten?
That's not what you'd expect.
No.
You were right, Nick. That is Ron Harper's son. There's also Ron Harper Jr., who played at Rutgers and played for the Raptors.
I remember him, too, sure.
Yep.
Oh, God, Ron Harper. A listener named Brian says, well, I've seen some videos with Dylan Harper.
love her.
I'd imagine. Okay.
Randy.
Oh, God,
That's her profession?
I think the first name's spelt differently.
Randy, that's an adult film actress.
I'm sure it is, yes.
Randy, Walleye King, Jesus, texted in. Back to paper bags over the heads of embarrassed football fans. Who's your favorite celebrity who wore a paper bag over his head?
Oh, gosh.
That was his gimmick.
Yes.
Everywhere he went, he wore a paper bag over his head. For you people who watch television in the 1970s.
Is it the something comic?
The unknown comic.
The unknown comic. That's it. Yes.
Who used to appear on the Gong Show back in the 70s.
Yes.
I
Chuck
love
Barris.
it. But he was not your favorite character on the Gong Show, was he?
No, that's Gene, the dancing machine.
Gene, the dancing
machine. Exactly.
I thought you were going to say the Popsicle Twins.
Oh, they were good.
Those two.
If you are a younger person and have no idea what we're talking about, look up The Gong Show. Watch a few episodes because it was a wildly hilarious and outrageous show, especially for its time.
Exactly.
But Gene the Dancing Machine was the most beloved man on television for a stretch of time because he was a legitimate janitor at the studio where they filmed the show. And Chuck Barris, the producer and the host of the show, loved this guy so much and would spot him dancing down the hallway, mopping the floors. And he said, you should be on television. So every once in a while, they'd take a musical break and just the band would play. And here would come Gene out onto the stage. And he would dance and we would have tears in our eyes.
That's hilarious.
I loved Gene the Dancing Machine.
Yeah.
Alex Ovechkin scored another goal last night, so now he's 9 away.
Oh.
From Wayne Gretzky. 9 away. And I don't know, what do they got left? 16, 17, 18 games?
And doesn't he play against the Wild at the end of the season?
Yeah, he does. Let me look that up.
But it's not here in town? Or is it here in town?
Or is it here in town?
I can't remember.
If it's here in town, that could be a hot ticket, man.
Could be a hot ticket.
Yeah, because Foligno's going to break the record the same day of empty goals.
No.
Is it here or is it on the road?
I'm looking it up. March 27th, and it is, it's here.
Wow. That could be a big ticket.
Oh, it'll be a big one. It'll be a big one.
Imagine if he's 1 away heading into that game.
People will be wetting their pants.
Yeah.
I read tomorrow, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is the NHL trade deadline, and I don't know if anything's going to go sideways or not, but I read an article yesterday that said the Pigs might want to trade Ryan Hartman. Says here his lack of production, his recent suspension, and his high salary might be discouraging factors for other hockey clubs, and he has a full no trade clause, so he has to agree to the deal. But you know, it's not 1989 anymore. It's not like you need Willie Plett and Al Secor out there beating each other within an inch of their lives. But teams still like to have that gritty, antagonizing instinct.
Well, they got that with Marcus.
And that's exactly where the article finishes off. There are clubs who want that. Not that Hartman can't put the, you say it, Randy, the Lou Nanny.
Put the biscuit in the basket?
Not that Hartman can't score some goals, but he's that agitator that clubs still like to have in the playoff, especially in the playoff. Here's how she went down at yesterday's Class A lineup of the boys' state high school hockey tournament. 3 shutouts out of 4 games. I bet if you're some kind of history buff, I wonder how many times that's ever happened in the opening round or any round of the 3 shutouts out of 4 games. St. Cloud Cathedral shutout Matamidi. Tweederville beat Northfield 8-2. The Hibbing Chisholm setup beat Laverne by a touchdown, 7 with the extra point, 7-0.
Yeah.
And East Grand Forks shutout Northern Lakes 3-rip. You know what I found out last night, Cubby, while I was watching the Northern Lakes club?
What's that?
One of my old buddies got a kid on the team.
Get out of here.
That's cool.
And then they got shut out, so.
This kid sucks.
Long ride. Hey, Long ride back to Pequot, I'll tell you that. It's a long drive back to Pequot, and Dad's going to have a conversation with that kid.
Well, lucky he's in the car. Remember Jordan Parisi was telling us a story about there was somebody he played hockey with, and if they lost, the kid's dad wouldn't give him a ride home.
Yeah.
He'd have to carry all his gear home.
Dude.
That's
brutal.
That is brutal.
At least the dad was at the game.
Well, yeah, you can see the silver lining.
Now I'm walking home.
Oh, man.
And I bet 6-7 times out of 10 he was thinking, I wasn't even on the ice, when a couple of goals. Our goalie's a sieve, for Christ's sake, but I got to walk home?
Yeah, Dad wouldn't
I was a plus in the game. I wasn't a minus.
Right.
Dad wouldn't even let him put his hockey bag or stick in the car.
Oh, man. That's brutal.
Back to the Wild quickly. Somebody texted in saying that they're a Wild season ticket holder and they sold their Washington tickets for 3 times face value 3 weeks ago.
Yes, I'll bet.
Wow. Sweet.
I mean, this is actually going to be interesting to watch. How many games does Ovechkin have between now and that game?
15, 14, 16, 11
in the month of March? We're already in March. It can't be that many. We're 2 weeks away.
Got to be somewhere in the teens. Somewhere's in the teens.
Yeah.
Okay, this text message from Brewers and High Life Jesus. If this happens, I'm never watching hockey again. Brewers and High Life Jesus says he's going to break the record versus the Pigs here in St. Paul on an empty net goal. If that happens,
you'll see Marcus Foligno with a tear coming.
Yes. I will never watch hockey at the professional level again. I'll watch collegiate hockey. If he breaks the record on an empty net goal, so long.
Funny.
Ovechkin and the Capitals got 9 games between now and that March 27th game against the Wild.
Wow.
They must have a few afterwards then, too, right?
They do.
Yes.
Okay.
Goes into mid-April.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Today, Class AA, Randy Shaver, starting at 11 a.m., Stillwater, Andover.
Mm-hmm.
That would be Ponies versus Huskies. I like the nicknames. I like to try to see if I can remember the St. Thomas Academy. That's the Cadets.
Yep.
Shakopee, are they the Sabres?
They are.
Okay. I'm batting 1,000 so far, Ashley. Moorhead, the Spuds against Lakeville South, the Panthers.
No, Cougars.
No?
Cougars.
That's close enough. They're both large cats.
Lakeville
Saber-tooth, cougar, whatever. MILF.
Lakeville MILFs.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's probably not too far off.
I bet it's very true.
Rogers, don't tell me, because my brother's kid went to school there. They're playing the Edina Hornets. Rogers is the
you want help?
Daffodils.
The Daffodils, yes. The Royals.
Royals, for the love of Pete.
So, Nick, did you see the thing, the conversation that Mike Florio had about the Vikings?
I did not.
Okay, so Michael Florio, of course, writes. He's part of NBC's broadcast team, and he's talking about Sam Darnold and J.J. McCarthy. Will they sign Sam Darnold, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And if they do sign Sam Darnold, he predicts that J.J. McCarthy will ask to be traded. But I thought the most interesting part, if you Google Michael Florio, you'll see this article pop up.
All right.
Here's what he said. And he wrote this. He must write like a blog or something every day.
He does profootballtalk.com.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Okay. So he wrote this yesterday about the Vikings. He said, I'm not thrilled about this, but people dealing with the Vikings have told me they don't know who's in charge.
What?
They don't know. Let me finish.
Yeah.
They don't know who's making the final decisions. Now, maybe that's deliberate. Maybe it's part of the strategy. Maybe it's a negotiation tactic. But there's real confusion over who ultimately decides between Darnold and McCarthy. Who wants Darnold? Who wants McCarthy? Who's making these decisions? And that's created this sense of fluidity. You've seen the reports that the situation is constantly shifting. One reason for that, no one seems to have a clear picture of who's making the final call.
Interesting.
That's a guy who's got a ton of sources. I'm not saying this is, I don't know if he's correct or not correct because I don't have that kind of inside knowledge, but I find that incredibly interesting.
Yeah.
That if that is true, that the viewpoint from outside the Vikings organization in dealing with them on this subject is that nobody knows what's going on inside the building.
Hilarious.
There's not a clear objective inside the building.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hilarious to me.
Yeah.
They don't know who the hell's in charge.
I know.
That's why certain folks get certain job titles. That puts them in charge.
I know. Crazy.
That's funny. That's funny. All right, I'll tell you what, Randy Shaver, we got a bolt here in a minute. Got a text, though, from father of 7, Jesus. My God.
How does he even have the energy?
I do not know. Josh, wouldn't you just be receiving Gatorade intravenously at all times?
Yeah, he's got to be severely dehydrated.
Yes.
Father of 7 Jesus. He said he was at Rogers Elementary School in 87, 88, and he said back then we were the Rogers Road Runners, and I will die on that hill. He said.
Cool. That's way cooler.
Did they change their name from the
No,
Road?
they've always been the Royals, but maybe the junior highs are different.
Okay,
names.
well, sure, I get that. Like at my elementary school, we had at my elementary school, we were the Winston Wildcats.
Sure.
At my elementary school, we were the Thomas Lake Tigers, but after a couple of years after I moved on, went to middle school, I graduated 5th grade. It's pretty impressive. They changed it. They decided the Tiger was too scary of a mascot, so they're now the Thomas Lake School Supplies.
No, they are not.
Is this a joke?
No.
That's so
the school supplies?
The logo is just, a book and a ruler and like a protractor. And
that's their nickname?
Yes.
That school sucks.
That's the dumbest damn thing I've heard.
Oh, I was furious. I was a pissed off 12-year-old.
The school supplies. So on the logo, there's a pencil and a ruler and some crayons.
Yeah.
So it's not just that it looks like school supply, like the man bear pigs look like man bear pig for the wild?
I don't know if they actually refer to themselves as the school supplies, but that's what everybody calls them.
Oh, so it could be a joke.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
But they're no longer the Tigers because the Tiger mascot that was on all our yearbooks was deemed too scary.
Well, a tiger could hurt somebody.
Yeah.
We don't need children being exposed to final. Yes, Randy.
I've always thought that the most amazing nickname in Minnesota was the Blooming Prairie Awesome Blossoms. However, your school supplies could be right up there.
An old-timer that I drink with now and again at the Wayzata American Legion is a Blooming Prairie Awesome Blossom.
Awesome Blossom.
One final note before we go. A message to Father of 7 Jesus from St. Paul Lino Jesus. He says, yo, Father of 7, it's okay to do it for fun once in a while. We'll talk to you tomorrow, Randy Shaver.
See ya.
All right, 651-989-9393 is the number if you want to text in with a question about your beloved house pet. Our veterinarian friend, Dr. Andrea Johnston, will be in studio shortly. If you have any concerns, text in your questions. And also, we're going to try something we've never done before. We're going to attempt this. It could be a total gong show. We're going to try a live dog exam on air. My little dog is wandering around the studio here somewhere.
Yep.
We're going to try a live dog exam. And your questions for Dr. Andrea when we come back on the Half-Ass Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
If you're listening to sports,
how the Chiefs react to this loss will be fascinating.
Mixed with pop culture, sprinkled with celebrity interviews.
True or false, Kevin Bacon, for your role in Footloose. You attended classes at a high school.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. Morgan Freeman. What was it like working with Gene Hackman?
He came up in one scene and whispered in my ear, I'm going to hurt you. I believed him.
Then you're enjoying the Rich Eisen Show podcast.
Speaking of podcasts,
follow and listen on your favorite platform.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hello. And welcome back to the 93XFS Morning Show. It's 8:31. We have 3 special guests in studio. Josh, all very important women in my life.
Yes, absolutely.
Veterinarian Dr. Andrea Johnston is here from German Animal Hospital. Welcome back, Dr. Andrea.
Thanks. Good morning.
Thank you for coming in. My female Yorkie pup by the name of Gertie is here. Everyone say hello to Gertie.
Hi, Gertie.
Hi, Gertie.
Oh, my God. Look at her.
Oh, I'm melting.
She's just so tiny and adorable. And finally, Josh, the two of you get to meet. My wife is here.
Yeah, it's so nice to finally meet you. I noticed you introduced them in the order of importance in your life.
Of course.
The veterinarian, the dog, and then your wife.
All you finally get to meet my wife, who doesn't want any mic time this morning. She doesn't want to hear her voice. Josh, can I borrow a mic that I can bring home?
Dude, she's right here.
Do you have a spare microphone that I can bring room to room at home?
Put a mic in her face.
Don't want to hear your own voice, remember? Well, of course, my wife brought our puppy in. And Dr. Andrea, of course, always happy to have you back in studio. And you always kill our text machine.
Fun.
We're going to get to plenty of questions for you that our listeners have texted in on their beloved house pets, but also kind of as a way to motivate folks maybe to get their pets checked out, have exams done, because you would be able to tell this way better than I could, but you can maybe catch things before they...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
I mean, I'm imagining fairly often a regular exam will find something that folks can attack quicker and help their pet be healthier.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of those things are pretty subtle, that you're like, wow, your dog's lymph nodes are big, or I hear a heart murmur, or there's a fractured tooth that's abscessed. That's why your dog's drooling. A lot of strange things that people just don't pick up on.
Are there subtle things? Like, obviously, if a dog's limping, I'm going to notice her. If my eye's falling out. But is there subtle things when a dog or a cat comes in where you can look at it and the average person wouldn't notice, and you can just tell, oh, something's going on
Sometimes I can see lymph nodes from across the room.
Oh,
people
really?
will be like,
Oh,
this
that's
is
scary.
a lump that I just picked up and it's growing. And you're like, that's a lymph node.
Oh, no.
This is kind of crazy. I can walk into a room and smell a urinary tract infection.
Can you really?
Wow. They say that like with kids, some people can smell strep throat. I can smell that same bacteria
My
when
God.
I walk in.
Just from experience, or you were born with it?
I don't know if it's a special talent, but a lot of people can smell it when you walk in. Just has this odor to it.
I don't think I have that talent.
Only in animals you can sense this.
I think.
Public bathrooms. Are you ever picking up a scent?
I don't want to know. I don't do humans.
So, I mean, what we wanted to try to do is, we got Gertie in here, and maybe, I know you're limited with space, and this is not your vet clinic, but maybe kind of walk us through a typical exam.
Sure.
And what is Gertie doing?
Right, Gertie's licking the table. That's probably dangerous.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that, Gertie.
I was giving her these little churu treats that you can buy on Amazon, and she loves them.
She's just a pup yet, and she's a little, obviously this is a strange room for her, so she might be a little squirrely. Right now she's eating some
churu.
Churu.
I've not heard of that.
She's very excited.
Some type of goo.
They're cat treats, but I usually buy them. We buy them and give them to dogs too on Amazon.
Oh, it's like a liquid?
Yeah, it's like a Go-Gurt for dogs and cats. So
Gertie is very interested.
Or giving vaccines, they lick it.
Which one is she eating over there?
This is chicken.
Oh, there's tuna over here.
Tuna is more of a favorite with cats, but dogs, they like the chicken a little bit
She likes chickens.
Then my hands end up smelling all day, too, because I'm holding it. So
Well,
I prefer the chicken.
and then that might mask the scent of a urinary tract infection. And
misdiagnosis.
So, I mean, how would you start? What would be the first thing you'd do with Gertrude over there?
When we talked about doing this yesterday, I was laughing because I think this is going to be even easier than doing it to, 5-year-old daycare kids that I've had to do before. So this is way easier to instruct you guys or on the radio. So the main thing is obviously everyone does their physical exam differently, but I start from the nose to tail. And I kind of have a routine. So I first start looking at her teeth. And I know a lot of clients call in and ask about, or a lot of listeners call in and ask about dental disease.
Yeah.
And
She's checking out Gertie's teeth as we
looking
speak.
at her teeth. She's missing a few teeth. We knew that.
Well, she's Canadian.
She grew up playing hockey.
Yeah.
But she's a small breed, so they're more susceptible to periodontal disease. So we're looking for fractures. We're looking for tartar, and her teeth actually look pretty darn good.
Okay. How did she lose teeth?
So actually,
do we know this story
I do
already?
know this with her
Yeah.
because she had retained baby teeth that we pulled out surgically that would not fall out on their own. So I surgically removed those because all her baby teeth should be out by 6 months, and hers were not. So we pulled them out. And
Is that every dog?
No, usually the smaller the dog, the harder they have a time coming out. So hers just never came out. And I don't think she had adult teeth. Actually, I know she didn't have adult teeth because they didn't push out the baby teeth.
She seems to really be enjoying this, but, of course, you're giving her a treat, and she knows you a little bit.
Yeah, I haven't seen her for a while, but she ran right up to me, so I love it.
After the teeth,
Yep,
you go...
so I check her lymph nodes. So you can feel lymph nodes.
Oh, she likes that.
Right behind the ear there?
Yep, just kind of below the jaw, her salivary ducts there, and her lymph nodes. And then you can also feel her, what we call prescapular lymph nodes. So right along kind of her shoulder, in front of her front legs. Those feel nice and normal.
This would be the saddest radio show ever if Dr. Andrea suddenly went, oh, no.
I know, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to need to take her with me.
Yeah.
I was going to bring that up earlier, but I didn't want to put that out there.
Yeah.
I thought
Same
this
here,
could,
Josh.
This could tank.
Your dog has 2 hours to live.
I'm really glad I didn't bring in my widow who has, she's the 3-legged one. So
Yeah.
she's been through some things. She has some problems. And that's one of the reasons why I thought maybe it's not a good idea to bring her in because I didn't want you to give me bad news. I would have cried on air.
I have a lot of wives that will not bring in their dogs because they're afraid I'm going to give them bad news. So the husband comes because they're afraid.
That's smart.
So now I'm going to look at her eyes.
Oh,
so
she's got pretty eyes.
Biggest things we see are cataracts.
Yeah.
So I'm looking in there. She doesn't have any cataracts. I'm looking at the back of her retinas to make sure there's no abnormalities there. But sometimes I will actually, in cats, be able to look at their retinas and determine that they have high blood pressure.
Wow.
So that is an indication that they might have kidney disease.
It's very interesting. What do you call the instrument you just used to check
This is an ophthalmoscope.
Ophthalmoscope.
Yep. So just like your eye doctor would do, they put a light in your eye and look and make sure that can constrict your pupils, make sure there's no retinal detachment, cataracts, glaucoma.
I'm enjoying the hell out of this. This is really interesting stuff.
I'm learning a lot.
Just your typical...
The good news is she's little, so it makes it easy to look at her and examine her. I was afraid Josh was going to bring us Danes in this one.
It'd be a little more difficult.
So then I move on. So little small breeds, specifically Chihuahuas and really tiny breeds, can have an open fontanelle, so they can have a soft spot that never closed.
On their head?
On their head.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
yeah,
like
so
a
I'm
baby.
making sure she doesn't have
Squeezing her skull.
an open fontanelle. Yep, it's nice and firm. And then I actually realized I forgot my otoscope, which is my ear examiner.
It's okay. I got one in the trunk. I'll go grab it.
Yeah.
But I use a cone, just like your ear doctor, your general doctor would do to look in your ears
Uses
for
a
an ear
cone.
infection. Yep, it's like an ear cone. And you put it in there.
Chris Paul.
And then what we're looking for is to make sure the eardrum is intact, make sure there's no ear infections, make sure there's no polyps. Cats get polyps in their ears. So if you have a cat that snores and it's young and it's a male, it could be a polyp coming from the back of the throat into the ear canal. So
How about a question from a listener? Well, we're still going to further examine Gertie here, Dr. Andrea Johnston in from German Animal Hospital, telling us the basics of an exam for a dog or a cat, because you should have them looked at and don't let things go too far. A listener texted in to say, my lab goes out to the yard and kills critters now and again, rabbits, squirrels, chipmunks. Is there any particular yard critter that I should worry about, something that stands a chance to make him really sick?
I mean, a lot of those critters carry parasites. So, and then the other thing they can get is if you ingest like a rodent or a rabbit and kill it, fleas off that animal jump ship right onto the dog. And if the dog were to ingest a flea, it can predispose them to tapeworms. So make sure your dog's on flea and tick control.
Do your dogs kill all the critters in the neighborhood, Ashley?
They try.
Yeah.
They're a little too slow.
Oh, well, the one's only got 3 legs.
Yeah. It is really cool, though. One of my dog, Bruin, he's a Catahoula leopard mix, and his prey drive is so high that if he sees a bunny or a squirrel outside the sliding door window, he sits there and he just starts to shake, just convulse like crazy.
That's what Gertie over there does. Did she hear Ashley when Ashley said the SQ word?
Well, and you know her breed. They are rodent chasers.
Yeah.
They are rodent killers.
She's damn near. She's not much bigger than a damn squirrel.
No, she isn't.
not.
Would she know what to do if she caught one?
No. No. She'd probably dance with it or something like that.
Cute.
They'd rustle. So then I go on and I feel along her ribs to make sure she is not overweight. And I look above her waist here to make sure she has a nice little tucked in waist and is not like a Tootsie Roll. You want to be able to feel their ribs but not see them, and that can indicate that they are an ideal weight.
She's around 5 pounds, I think.
Yeah, she's a peanut.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she looks great. But, if she gains 1 pound, that's like 10 pounds in a person, right? So you got to be careful with that with her size. And then I take out my handy-dandy stethoscope, and I will listen to her chest.
Oh.
So, yeah.
See how the heartbeat is doing and all that.
Yep, I'll make sure there's no heart murmur. I'll make sure that there's no crackles or wheezing in her lungs.
Some listeners are texting wanting to know when you're going to get to the anal glands.
Everybody asks that. It's funny because I brought gloves today just to joke, and I was like, I am not doing anal glands on the air. And I would leave you guys with a horrible smell.
Yeah, I don't need that right now.
Horrific for days.
I can sense that across the room the way you can UTIs. I can.
Oh, boy, yeah. With those anal glands.
It's the worst.
Is a Yorkie the type of dog that would be checked for that?
Okay, so a couple things. Anal glands can be an issue with allergies, dogs that have chronic allergies. So if they're scooting, licking, or you smell it often, that's an indication that they can't express them on their own. Some dogs just have that darn problem, and they have to come in every 4, 6, 8 weeks to have them expressed.
And when you put the gloves on, they get nervous.
I don't know. I think they do.
Have you ever had one that can read it? Like you put the gloves on? Yeah.
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 Now, I guess the other thing is I always recommend anal gland expressions in dogs at minimum over 5 years of age, because anal sac cancer is really common.
Okay.
Oh, good to know. Wow.
Yeah, and it's hard to find.
I really made a fool of myself at the groomer once when I was bringing my old dog Tori Joe in there. My ex-wife, she usually dropped her off, but I did it this time, and we knew that Tori Joe didn't like the anal glands expressed, and my ex-wife reminded me, you should make sure you tell them that. I go, yeah, I got it. I'm walking out, and I turn around, I couldn't remember the term, and I said, oh, yeah, no, she doesn't like any of that butt stuff. You don't need to worry about that.
Butt stuff.
I usually take the dog out of the room. It can be a little traumatic, especially for the smaller dog and the bigger finger.
Another. Oh, God.
I knew that was going to go somewhere.
You know what? I had a proctology exam, and the guy was pretty funny. He's like, all right, drop your pants. First and foremost, this is going to be worse for me, but you're lucky I've got little fingers.
You got to have a sense of humor.
We
about
became
that stuff.
fast friends.
Yeah.
I love that story. Another question here for Dr. Andrea. And I love the way this one's written up. I leave the radio on for my dog when I leave for work. She enjoys your segment on the Half-Fast Morning Show.
Love it.
Although now that she's an older female, when I come home, I find that she's changed the channel to KS95. Anyway, sometimes she coughs out of nowhere. This worries me. Any ideas? A coughing dog.
Yeah, so if she is an older dog and she's smaller, or if she's potentially overweight,
Well, they
my
didn't say
guess
the breed, yeah.
is it could be a tracheal issue. If she gets excited, if you pull on her leash, her trachea will collapse. That trachea is made of cartilage. So the older they get, the weaker it gets. And when they get excited, they inhale air and it just collapses. So my guess, as long as it's not getting worse or the dog's feeling well, that's my guess.
Okay.
There is another dog in the building right now.
Yeah.
Steve Gorman from KQRS, it's his dog. And I never get to pet the dog because every time I do, she, I can't remember.
It's a he.
He
Chauncey.
gets so excited that he does that every time. And I feel bad because it sounds painful.
Oh, he sneezes constantly.
Really?
Yeah, all the
Sometimes
time.
that's like a nervous, excited habit.
That's
but
the
if
way
it's
it
the
appears.
coughing,
Yeah.
And if they do kind of this retch at the end, that oftentimes is them clearing their throat, like an 80-year-old man. It's harder for them to clear their throat.
Mm-hmm. So far, has Gertie passed her exam? She's doing
She
okay so
has.
far?
Yeah. So
Okay.
then what I do after I listen to her heart and her lungs and I move on to her belly, this is a common area where I will find abdominal masses, sadly, especially in older dogs. Splenic masses are really common. I can feel lymph nodes in there too, but everything feels really nice and normal. I can feel her bladder too.
She's just a winner, is all she is. She's a winner.
She is.
Yeah.
And then I move back and I feel her knees and her hips. So we kind of do an orthopedic exam.
What are you looking for there?
So I want to make sure there's no osteoarthritis or hip pain. And then also another thing we commonly see in small breed dogs is patellar luxations. So that kneecap can pop in and out. I don't know if she ever skips ever or anything, but sometimes that kneecap will pop in and out of that trochlear groove of the tibia there.
Mm-hmm.
But hers feels great. She feels good.
All right, that's great to know. My wife is here, who brought our dog Gertie, so Dr. Andrea could give us an idea of a typical exam. And so far, Gertie is acing that exam. A couple of text messages I wanted you to hear right away. Dr. Andrea, and my wife. Here's a listener who said, Nick, it was nice of the wife to stop by and protect you from all the whores.
Well, I don't know if you knew this, Dr. Andrea, but Nick's wife hates whores.
Wow.
She despises whores.
She's nodding her head no.
Dr. Andrea, after you're done inspecting Gertie, can Josh go through his puppy mechanic routine on the dog so we know how that goes?
I'd love to see it. I'd love to hear the song too.
Puppy mechanic?
Yeah,
I
I've
love
heard about
playing
it.
puppy mechanic. I can't play with Gertie.
She's too small for puppy mechanic.
Yeah, unless I put her up on a lift. I guess I never even thought of that.
You could probably just do like airplane with her.
I told the guys and gal yesterday, I got a little too close to the exhaust the other day playing puppy mechanic.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so I'm moving on to the other puppy.
Josh, do you have any messages on your end from the brother or sisterhood for Dr. Andrea?
Well, this is a great time for the Wi-Fi to die on me, so I'm counting on you guys.
Dr. Andrea, I have a cat. Is it safe to use eucalyptus essential oil in a steam diffuser? I've read that eucalyptus is poisonous to cats.
As long as they're not ingesting it. I mean, aerosol, that's fine.
Is that what they put in Vicks Vapor Rub? Maybe you don't know this.
I think so, or that's menthol, isn't it? Or
is it?
some type of menthol. Is that right? I will say cats are predisposed to asthma, so any airborne additions you add, like, what do you call it, diffuser, it can cause their asthma to flare up.
Okay.
So I'd be cautious of that.
How long can my cat go without being fixed?
Well, I would do it sooner than later. I would do it at 6 months. I wouldn't do it any later than that. They're so susceptible to breast cancer or mammary cancer if you wait.
Okay.
And you said, was dog around 6 months too? Dogs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. For a spay. A neuter, we would wait longer now.
You would? Okay.
Here's a dog who had a little accident.
Oh, no.
My dog biffed it. Has a good-sized gash that healed now, but has a lemon-sized fluid sac on his side. Will it go away, or do I need to get it drained?
Sounds like an abscess. So it probably healed with some bacteria in there. So you need to get it drained. They might have to put a drain in and lance it and get on antibiotics.
That's got to be one of the high points of your week when there's some lancing and draining going on at the vet's office.
I had one yesterday.
Is that
my,
right?
my dream job would be to work off a 94 in South Dakota and treat all the hunting dogs. Because that's all they have, these wounds, these lacerations, these emergency cases.
Yeah, they get a cut or two. And
yeah.
What's the grossest thing you have to do at work? Is it the anal gland, or is it something you've done that so many times it doesn't even bother you?
You know, what I really don't like doing is de-obstipating a constipated cat.
I mean, it's like going.
So I actually have to manually go in and scoop out the.
yeah.
Lord.
I can see that being unappealing.
It just stinks because it's been in there forever.
Oh, I bet.
Yow.
Dr. Andrea, I just dropped my 12-year-old golden retriever off at a vet for an oral mass removal surgery, possible melanoma. How serious is this? Thoughts on ivermectin? Ivermectin?
Ivermectin. Ivermectin won't work for that. But melanoma
is that the horse stuff?
Yeah.
The stuff that
that's like
Aaron
what we
Rodgers
use for
got known
heartworm
for?
preventive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
No
that's a
ivermectin.
separate question. So how serious is this possible melanoma oral mass removal surgery? Maybe it was a separate question. Thoughts on ivermectin? That's Bill from Plymouth.
Oral melanoma is pretty concerning in a golden retriever. You have to get it removed with wide margins, and then also there is now a melanoma vaccine for those dogs that have had melanoma. It's pretty expensive, but you would probably need to see an oncologist after having that removed.
For the love of God, my dog is holding half of the family hostage, says our next listener. My dad got a Havanese and was told he can't leave it alone crated for more than 2 hours. I hope this isn't true.
No. That dog can be on its own. Yeah, for sure. I would keep it at home longer than that.
I don't know why they...
No.
Here's a guy whose dog has thrown up 3 times in the last 24 hours. It's undigested food. She seems okay otherwise, hasn't gotten into anything bad. No change in diet either. The problem is we leave for Mexico on Monday. I need to figure out what's happening and hopefully treat it before we leave. I can't leave my dog with a dog sitter if she's still throwing up.
Yeah, I'd get your dog into a vet. I'd also fast it, not offer any food. If it continues to vomit or not eat, get your dog in before you go.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That makes sense. Here's a listener with a kitty named Claptrap. Does anyone know this? Does that mean something? What does that mean? Claptrap, like... The STD?
I don't know. It's cute, though.
My kitty named Claptrap has dandruff. How do I get rid of it? Poor kitty.
Well, cats hate baths. You could try to bathe it. Make sure it's not allergies. Sometimes fish oils will work really well with dry hair coat.
Mm-hmm. Finally, what I have in front of me, what breeds, because of back issues, should probably not jump on and off the bed or couch or maybe even keep away from stairs?
Well, the two that come to mind, French Bulldogs and Dachshunds. Those are the two big ones we see with herniated discs. But any breed can have a herniated disc, just like a person.
Did our puppy Gertie fall asleep? Oh, no, there she is.
Oh, she's watching you.
Hi, Gertie.
Those ears perk up. That's so cute.
Thank you very much, Dr. Andrea, for every damn thing. And especially making sure that our beloved Gertie is in good health. And she seems so excited to see you.
She looks great. She looks awesome.
Yeah, that was
You're
fun.
doing a good job.
And then this other lady in the studio didn't want to be on the microphone.
That's your wife.
Yeah. I'll see you in a little while. Thanks, Dr. Andrea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for everyone for texting in. My God, you still get hundreds and hundreds of text messages.
Yeah, we could easily have you on a few times a week.
Mm-hmm.
Easily. Happy 14th birthday to Madeline Grace from Dad, somehow, some way, still sober Jesus, and have a great Thursday.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.